Sun Valley Lanes in Lincoln, Nebraska. NET Sports, Nebraska's home for championship sports, brings you the 2018 Nebraska High School Bowling Federation Boys State Championships. And good morning, everyone. I'm Larry Putney, along with former Husker standout Carla Vandenberg. Great to have you with us here as we get set to crown champions this year in classes A, B, and C. We've moved to the three-class format instead of four classes, in hopes of a potential Nebraska School Activities Association sanctioning coming later this winter. Carla, a team in Class A going for 3 straight state championships, something you did on the collegiate level.
Absolutely. We've got Northeast going for their 3rd consecutive state championship. It's one thing to go 2 years in a row and have that excitement of the back-to-back championship. It's quite another thing to have the pressure of going for 3 in a row.
Talking about successful teams in Class C, maybe one of the best teams ever in the history of the state of Nebraska in North Bend.
Yeah. North Bend is a team that has 3 out of their 4 players carrying over a 200 average, which is quite an unusual thing in high school bowling.
Yep. So this is a team that could compete certainly at any level, but going for 6 in a row in Class C. Let's take a look at the individual standings. The top 5 in the singles competition, which was contested yesterday at Sun Valley Lanes. Wyatt Woodard is your individual singles medalist from Broken Bow, and you see North Bend well represented as well with 2 inside the top 5. Should be a good way to kick off the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation State Championships as North Bend goes for 6 consecutive when we come back right here on NET Sports.
For me, asking why is just getting started.
It's more than an activity. It's me doing what I love.
I'm not a stereotype. When I rewrite the rules, things get better.
I know that all these experiences matter.
These moments will help me become something more.
Little things always lead to something bigger.
Do it.
Track it.
Earn it.
What you're doing now will help you get scholarships later. Find resources from Education Quest at trackyoursuccess.org.
Funding for the NHSBF State Championships was provided by the Lincoln Bowling Association through grants from the Bear Foundation and the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation. Reminding you that over 1,000 high school students compete statewide in varsity bowling.
The values that Methodists bring is family.
It's important going through school that you're not just a number, that you're a face and that you're a name to a teacher. And so I loved the small class sizes.
What it means to me is that I found my foundation where I can build on my passion and I can embrace something new in my life. It is a place where I know that I'm supposed to be.
In an NET News special, speaking of Nebraska Medicaid expansion, Fred Knapp of NET News will speak with Nebraska Senators Kate Bowles and Brett Lindstrom about the newly voter-approved Medicaid expansion initiative. Many key questions need to be answered, like how will Nebraska pay for the state's share, and will other government programs need to be cut? Find out more during Speaking of Nebraska Medicaid expansion, today at 12 p.m. Central on NET.
And welcome back to Sun Valley Lanes here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Good to have you with us on this Sunday morning as we get ready for state championship action. Yesterday, of course, we covered the girls. Today, it's the boys' turn. And if you'd like a DVD copy of the 2018 Nebraska High School Girls or Boys Bowling Championships offered by the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation, just visit NHSBF.com. Follow the links and preserve your state championship memories for a lifetime. Broken Bow is led by first-year head coach Chuck Herman, who has taken over the boys program. Sam Schitt is the only senior. Sawyer Bumgartner's a freshman, 4 sophomores on the team, and Woodward, Herman, Schaaf, Thomas is a freshman, and Buddy Osmond. Here is your 5-time defending champion North Bend Tigers, led by head coach Randy Dodge. Peyton Minnis is a sophomore, Connor Schleter, Andrew Crouch, Hunter Johnson, Caden Jewell, and Evan Balch. Prohibitive favorite here, without question, is the Tigers of North Bend Central. They have won 5 consecutive state championships. No other team in Nebraska High School Bowling Federation history has ever done that. Here is Wyatt Woodward to start things off for Broken Bow. Woodward leaves the 5-pin. And Peyton Mittis, just a sophomore, part of last year's state championship team. Mittis averages 205 on the year. Very up the boards player as Mittis gets the carry. And not surprisingly, the Tigers open up with a strike. And a good cover by Wyatt Woodward. Expect to see some big numbers shot here by this North Bend Central squad. Here's their anchor bowler, Connor Schleter. He has 3 300s, and boy, does he get a bit of hand in that. And they are off to the quick double. I said earlier, this may be the best team in the state regardless of class, and they're in Class C.
Oh, they're such a strong team. We said at the top of the show that 3 out of the 4 players in this team average 200 or better.
Yep. Good shot there by Herman. That is Shea Herman, just a sophomore. Averages 184 on the year. And now up on the right-hand lane for North Bend is the lefty, Andrew Crouch, just a freshman. And Crouch off the wall. Trips the 8-pin out of there, and they open up with 3 in a row.
And what's even more impressive about this North Bend team is they're young. They're such a strong team, but 1 freshman and 3 sophomores.
Crosses over on the shot by Sam Shent. Shent is a senior. Here's Hunter Johnston. Johnston, a sophomore, high game of 289. He leaves a 5-pin. Now to try to convert the 10 is Shent. And good cover. Last year in these state finals, North Bend's 3 games in Baker Bowling on the finals, 213, 267, 199. That was the highest 3-game total of any team last year in the state finals.
Solid average there.
Baumgartner leaves the 1-3. Sawyer Baumgartner, just a freshman, most improved on the team for Broken Bow. This Broken Bow squad has its work cut out for it. North Bend Central 10-0 on the year, has not lost. Mettis tugs it a bit, goes through the nose. Just missed inside. Feet got a little quick, it looked like. And a good cover by the freshman. Yeah, this Tiger squad has a freshman on the bench as that misses left. Has a freshman on the bench that averages 180.
Coach Randy Dodge, you saw that missed spare there. Coach Randy Dodge talked about the team can strike a lot when they're on a roll, but the weakness this year is that their spare shooting just has not been as strong as it has been in past seasons.
Oh, Randy, I feel your pain. I feel your pain. There's nothing more frustrating for a coach when you work on spares consistently in practice and it just does not always translate to, and that's when, as we talked about yesterday when we were talking about the girls, that's when the mental part of it really comes in. You have to start working on, okay, why can we execute and have so much success in practice, but it's not translating to the lane?
Right, absolutely.
So mental. So it's a 20-pin, 19-pin advantage for North Bend as we switch lanes. Both teams opening up in the 5th. Here is Schleter, finished 16th in the U15 Junior Gold Tournament. If you're not familiar with Junior Gold is very similar to the AAU of club volleyball, if you will. It's USSSA of club volleyball.
It's one of the most competitive programs you can, I mean, it's the most competitive program you can be in bowling. You can get to junior gold and be successful at junior gold. You are a top-notch player.
Nice roll and strike. Very smooth, straight up the boards from Herman. And now Crouch on the left-hand lane.
Not only is Crouch the youngest, he's also the one with the least experience, while his teammates have all bowled 8 or 9
Here
plus
comes.
years.
Zoo just missed it. Apologize, go ahead.
Nope, he's only working on his 4th year of bowling, but a solid player in those 4 years.
This is the second TV finals appearance. That is a 8-10. Second TV appearance for Chuck Herman's Broken Bow squad. The Indians, last time they were in the championship, lucky them, they also had to face this North Bend team. So this is a rematch of the 2017 state title, not last year, but 2017 from 2 years ago, before the switch to move this sport to a fall sport as opposed to a winter sport, which it was previously.
When I talked to both coaches about how they were going to prepare their team for bowling on television, they both talked about leveraging the experience that all of the kids have had, save for the freshmen, that all of them have had with bowling on TV, and remind them you've either been here before or you've seen it before. So let's just enjoy the moment. Let's not get down. Let's stay pumped up and use our experience to our advantage.
Up on the left-hand lane now. Peyton Mittis, and does not get the 7 out.
Mittis, just a sophomore, but he's already got his heart set on joining the United States Marine Corps when he graduates.
And a good cover by Broken Bow.
Lots of sophomores and freshmen on this Broken Bow team, and I asked Coach Randy Dodge, or excuse me, this North Bend team, I asked Coach Randy Dodge, who's the leader on your team? And he said, you know, we're so young that they're all kind of trying to create their own path. No one's really emerged as the leader yet, but they're all sort of working towards that, and so he's excited to see in the future who's going to kind of come out and emerge as the leader on the team, but working with all of them as sort of leaders in their own right.
So here is, after the open in the 9th, Connor Schleter in the 10th. Where that head pin flies off the far wall, across the lane, and takes out the 10. 3 consecutive strikes for Schleter. And that open is going to give this first game to North Bend. And because it's in the bag, Coach Randy Dodge will go to the substitution. So we're going to get our first look at Evan Balch. Balch is a senior for the Tigers of North Bend Central. Balch, a lefty.
Like many of his teammates, he's carrying a 4.0 GPA.
Here is Herman, the anchor for Broken Bow on the right lane. Best Broken Bow can have is 170. North Bend already with 192. Herman's been solid. 3 strikes in a row for Herman.
This was a good move by Randy Dodge to give Balch some experience. Bowling on TV, bowling in the finals.
Yep.
The game is in the bag. So either let your starting lineup, keep them in and let them get some practice shots in, basically, or bring in a substitute to get some shots in case down the road in this match that substitute needs to go in. Same here for Broken Bow. It's an opportunity to get lined up on this lane. You're mathematically out of the match, out of the game.
Right.
So take the opportunity to kind of get some free shots in.
.192 for North Bend. They take a 1-game-to-none lead over Broken Bow. So this is Baker format. So as you know, each bowler bowls 1 frame. So the first bowler in Class C would bowl the 1st, 5th, and 9th frames. The second bowler would bowl the 2nd, 6th, and 10th. Third bowler bowls the 3rd and 7th, the 4th and 8th, so on. And it's a best of 5. So the high game takes the game. Best of 5 is your state champ. So first team to win 3. Here's a look at the freshman getting his first shot under the lights. There's Caden Jewell, and you can see the potential in Jewell. He tugged that just a bit, but a lot of hand and a pretty good game for a young player. Through the nose, but got the 4-7 out. Woodward with a good break. Here's a look at Caden Jewell. And a good cover by Jewell. And the same for Woodward. So both teams open up game number 2 with a spare. Chuck Herman, the head coach of Broken Bow, led the girls team to a state title last year. Took over both programs this season. Just a bit wide. Very up the boards, not in a very aggressive ball. There's Coach Herman in his first year, 6-4 overall with the guys. Last season won the Class C girls title.
Coach Herman recently bagged his 19th 300.
Now that's just silly.
In the 6th different bowling center just a couple weeks ago back in November in Lexington. Says he likes collecting 300 games in different houses across Nebraska. It's an interesting collection.
It is. Very directed up the boards. Light on the head pin. Leaves the 2-4-5 for Shent. And Shent has come up a bit light each time. When you see that, it's likely playing maybe a little bit too deep. Maybe he needs to move his feet right, target in, maybe like a 3-2 move right or a 4-3 move. Sometimes even a 5-3 move can get you far enough outside to get a reaction.
Yeah, before you go to an extreme of a ball change, you want to just start by, can I just make a move with my feet or with my eyes?
Yeah, he slided about 20 right there to pick up that spare, and I would assume that unless he's going straight at spares, that would have been his feet would have gone right to pick that up. So he's maybe too far inside right now. Of course, this is a house shot here at Sun Valley Lanes. The first day, when we showed you the individual, the singles champion, that was contested on a much more difficult sport shot. Different oil pattern, different ratio of oil, internal to external, different length. So this is a typical house pattern where you have significantly, maybe like a 10-to-1 ratio of oil in the middle to outside.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when they do a sport shot, there'll be a 2-to-1 ratio. Why does that make a difference? Significantly harder to open up the lane and score on a sport pattern than it is on a house shot. There's Hunter Johnston.
much less room for error on a sports shot. You've got a much tighter window, if you will, demanding of your accuracy.
Just accuracy from a target perspective, but also consistency with your delivery, your release, your delivery, where you slide.
I was going to say, even where you slide.
Yeah.
If you're standing on 20, say, and you slide on 25, that's a huge difference.
Yeah. Two opens in the first 4 for North Bend. To keep track also of spare percentages for a team, how are they doing in terms of percentage? Right now, North Bend just 44%, which kind of highlights what Randy Dodge was saying. When they get on a roll, they can strike with the best of them, but the spare shooting has been frustrating at times for this Tiger squad, and a good cover there for Broken Bow. Woodward again. And a nice cover by the freshman Jewel. Two teams will switch sides. Well, you can watch NET Sports anytime, anywhere. Download the free NET Nebraska app today. You can watch college player profiles, full-length episodes from Big Red Wrap-Up, live web streams, and so much more. Just search for NET Nebraska in the App Store or download at netnebraska.org/apps. Here is Shea Herman. Just missed right. This North Bend team, the only team in Nebraska High School Bowling Federation history to win 5 state championships in a row. And you can see the adjustment made there by Schlueter. Not nearly as far outside. Wasn't playing outside of 5. That looked like more around 8. I don't know if he pulled it or just made an adjustment.
In the future of this North Bend team is a little up in the air right now. Coach Randy Dodge has taken a head coaching position to coach the men's and women's bowling team at Hawkeye College in Waterloo, Iowa. He actually coached the North Bend team at the beginning of the season before taking the position at Hawkeye College, and sat down with his team and talked to them about, this is what's going on. Can I come back for districts and for state? And they were right on board with that, wanted him to come back. And so nice moment between them to kind of have him ask for their permission and they would be okay with that, and they said absolutely. So he's talked about how he's excited to be back.
Well, that gutter on the spare really hurt Broken Bow in that they were going to have about a 15-pin lead, and instead it's a 6-pin lead. North Bend has done everything they can to allow Broken Bow to stay in this. They have 3 opens through 6 frames, and that comes in a bit light. And so now Broken Bow with a lead, working on a strike. An opportunity to double right here for Bumgarner.
Bumgarner, the freshman, started bowling at age 4. He actually won doubles at state tournament when he was 5 years old.
Huh.
Great way to be motivated to stay with something when you're winning it right away.
1, 2, 3, 4 errors on makeables here in game number 2. It's a total of 7 missed spares. Just really, we saw that a lot yesterday, but you just don't expect to see that from a North Bend team.
Right.
These kids are high level players.
And you just can't stress enough the importance of shooting spares.
Very skilled. Good carry there as he turns it up a little more. And a little more direct and up the boards for Hunter Johnson. If they're going to win this, they're going to have to throw a couple more strikes coming up here in the 9th and 10th. They can, right now it's a double-digit lead for Broken Bow. If Jewel can strike here, they can cut it to single digits. High 4. Not a bad ball. Good. Ooh, just chop that. So still anybody's game here.
Jewel, the freshman, is also a football athlete for
Good
North Bend.
So 5-pin advantage right now for Broken Bow. And here is Herman. Herman can shut out North Bend if he can throw a double. Got the first one, big one. So now a must strike here for Connor Schlueter, the sophomore. Yeah, much more directed up the boards and slaps out the 10. That is absolutely an adjustment. He looks like he's playing about 20-10. Just get up the boards and let the ball do the work.
Pretty typical house shot alignment there, 20 and 10.
And here is Herman. And this one can shut out North Bend. Missed a little bit right, got a good reaction. And mixed him up for the second time in a row.
He says that his strength is being the bowler who can come in clutch when it's needed, and right there he did it.
5 pins. So Shea Herman now needs just 6 pins to shut out North Bend. Earlier in this game, he did lose one off his hand and missed right into the gutter. Not this time. 3 in the 10th to take the win. That's a big game for Broken Bow. Gives them some confidence. Capitalizes on the errors of North Bend. And they're going to win it. 163. 158. Both anchor bowlers punch out of the 10th.
Schlueter looks lined up now.
And when you say lined up in bowling speak, that means consistently getting to the pocket with good ball reaction, ball finishing through the pit, knows where he's standing and where he's looking to accomplish.
Right. Once you're lined up, it sort of takes some of the mental load off of you because you're not trying to figure things out anymore. You've got it figured out. Now it's just do it over and over again.
Right.
Of course, until the lane breaks down a little more and you got to do it all over again.
Yep. So we start game number 3. Peyton Metis now on the right-hand lane.
Peyton with a high game of 279 and a high series of 660.
There is only one boys team in Nebraska high school federation bowling history that has won 6 state championships, and that is Pius X. North Bend can tie that with a win here today. And no one has ever won 6 in a row, which is what...
Do you know anything about the Pius team?
I've heard about it. I've heard they can't shoot spares.
Must be the coaching.
Yeah, they had a replacement coach.
Shea Herman now for Broken Bow shows goats in 4-H. He's also a track and cross-country athlete.
Yeah, he's lined up as well. Had that one miscue, the gutter. Outside of that, he has struck 8 times.
Schlueter was lined up in that one, came in a little light. So now he's got to decide, was it my error? Did the lanes break down that fast? Likely it was something that, you know, with his release that made it come in a little bit light.
And he'll hook at the spare, covers it up. So you saw Schlueter probably, in order to pick that up, maybe moved his feet 3 boards right. There is some geometry here in how you pick up left side spares, and many people use what's called a 3-6-9 spare system. For every pin left of the head pin, you move your feet 3 boards to the right. So if you're picking up a 2 pin, you move 3 right. If you're picking up a 4 pin, you move 6 right. If you're picking up a 7, you move 9 right. That's on a house shot. Where it gets tricky is when you have a sports shot, and that kind of gets thrown out the window because you can get early reaction, you can get ball not hooking down the lane. Kind of talk about the pros and cons of a 3-6-9 versus just going right at your spares.
So with the 3-6-9, I think one of the best advantages of it is you don't have to change anything except where you're standing. You can throw the same ball.
Yep.
I mean, you just throw your strike shot again, but you've moved your feet a little bit. When you're trying to go straight at the pins for a spare, it demands more of your accuracy. You've got a ball that's not going to do much on the lane because you're likely throwing a plastic ball. So it's just going to go straight at it. So it demands a change in the way that you've released the ball. You're not going to likely put the sort of turn on your release the way that you would with your normal shot. So it takes more change from you, I guess, is the best way to describe it. In my experience, in my time in Nebraska, was use your strike ball for every spare ball. Yeah, just.
You would flatten out your wrist on right side spares.
Yes, yep.
And that certainly is the Bill Straub and Paul Klempa philosophy.
Yep.
Learn how to adjust your wrist, go straight at even your right sides. Kind of the new philosophy is change balls and don't change the way you release the ball.
Right.
And just get something that's going to go straight at your right side.
Right. I remember sort of picturing just get your palm up to the ceiling. You know, just sort of flatten it out over onto that 10 pin.
Crossover leaves a 5 pin for Woodward. Midas now back up on the right-hand lane after a double has given North Bend the lead here in game number 3. Needs to get out there. Sometimes those feet just get a little bit quick on the spares, and a little bit of quick feet can cause your feet to be early. Your release is late, and that can cause a tug.
Mm-hmm.
And in this environment, you can understand why you
absolutely.
might get a little quick.
Yes, yes. That pressure gets on, and you just sort of get ramped up a little bit.
So up on the left lane now, here is Connor Schlueter, the sophomore. He has struck 8 times through 2.5 games. Messenger didn't quite get the 10 out.
It tried.
And here is Shea Herman, who's been on a roll himself. Ooh, just wrapped a 10.
Schlueter currently carries a 4.0 GPA, also is a golf and baseball athlete.
And good cover. So here is Caden Jewell now. Ooh, just rings a 10. Solid shot from Jewell. Here is Shent. Again, a bit light. Just a 10-pin game here. And now every player on North Bend has had an open today. Caden Jewell was the last player to not have opened for North Bend.
Shent, the lone senior in the team.
Well, that makes this shot so big. Good cover.
Good for him.
And now we are back to even here in the third.
Hunter Johnston for North Bend has qualified 4 times for junior gold.
Wow.
And for those who don't know, junior gold, we often call it junior gold. It's junior Olympic gold.
Right.
It's the junior Olympic team. And often when you look at players that compete on Team USA, compete internationally for Team USA, while it's not an Olympic sport, they do still practice at the Olympic facilities in Colorado. And many of the Team USA players are former junior gold players.
Boy, still anybody's match here. If he could pick this up, what a huge advantage. No. That would have given them the lead. And especially with Minnis having a very difficult conversion here. Do you hook across the head pin of this? Nope. Well, great conversion, and just the way you should pick that up. That's one thing you notice about a Randy Dodge coached North Bend team is just very solid. They pick up spares the right way. They're going cross lane. Those washouts, anymore you want to go cross lane at those, move your feet right from your 10-pin shot, kick that head pin over into the 10-pin, and there is Schlueter with the big shot.
And Randy Dodge is such a qualified coach. He's a USBC silver level coach. So he's got a lot of knowledge about the sport that he's bringing to his players to help them make adjustments, make ball choices, make alignment changes.
Needs this one to shut him out. Got it. 181 plus one more shot, and the best that Broken Bow can have now is 178. So 8. This is a must strike here. First of all, got it. I missed count 40, 56, 78. Yep, check that. So it is over. The second strike by North Bend. And here is Balch in to throw a shot, and that will wrap up game number 3. 188 the final for North Bend. And they'll go up 2-1. And Schaaf now getting an opportunity. Here's Brady Schaaf, just a sophomore, very young Broken Bow team.
Coach Chuck Herman talked about how impressed he has been. He said he's totally in awe how much the 4 new bowlers have improved. They only have 3 returning bowlers. 4 of them are new to the game.
Huh. $188-167 is the final.
Caden with a high game of 279, high series of 657.
So here is Jewell to try to convert the 10. And just got it. Woodward to keep pace. Difficult spare when you're not hooking at it. Looks like you need that angle to take that 8-pin out along with the 2. So early lead here in game number 4 to North Bend. North Bend has never lost in a televised final. 5 times here, 5 state championships. This is their 6th.
It's one of those things that gives you confidence going in, but with such a young team, it also is something that I think can put a lot of pressure on them also, that there's this legacy at North Bend that the program coach Dodge are looking for them to maintain and carry on, and that can weigh heavy on you.
And the light carry. Tough 210 here for Schlueter. Make sure he covers the 1.
Sometimes you'll see players do something like that where they go solid at 1 pin of a big split like that. And it's not a mistake. They are wanting to guarantee all the pin count that they can. And so sometimes you make the decision to not even try to make the spare, but to guarantee yourself at least one of the 2 pins. Sometimes that 1 pin that you chose to go after is the pin that's going to be the deciding pin for you.
Crossed over in the carry.
Shent, the senior, heading off to Chadron for college in the fall. Thinking UNK maybe also, but pre-pharmacy is what's his intended major.
That turned a corner. Looked like he missed a bit right there, but it checked up and got the carry for a double for North Bend. Here's Bumgarner. Jewell outside as well.
Bumgarner not only hanging out with his teammates on the lanes, but also at his family's cafe that they own in Broken Bow. He's got several teammates who work at his family's cafe.
.63 for North Bend. And opens the door slightly here for Broken Bow. And Woodward capitalizes. Big shot there by Woodward. 2 teams will switch lanes, and we're back to a 5-pin lead for Broken Bow. But with that strike in the 5th, they could extend that lead to double digits with a double here by their anchor bowler. So here is Herman, who has 10 strikes here in the 4th game today, making 11. Boy, he has been on, and that is a big double for Broken Bow.
I think his description as a clutch bowler is pretty accurate.
Yeah. Seven, 10 and out. Chance to make it 3 in a row. One, 3, 6 remains. So right now it's a 12-pin advantage for Broken Bow, but that can be wiped out and would be almost back to even if Crouch strikes right here.
Looked like he fell off of it a little bit.
Yeah. Here is Shent now, and chops the head pin. That ends a string of 5 consecutive marks for Shent. And he was 6 of 7 before that shot. Got a good coverage. essentially back to even after the mark by Broken Bow, and that's an important mixer and a carry for the freshman Bumgarner. So here is Johnston now trying to answer. Broken Bow with a win here would send this to a deciding fifth, where in Baker bowling anything can happen. A team gets hot, you get a little motivation. Woodward now for the double for Broken Bow. And that hook shot. Come back, it did! He backdoors the head pin. And that is a big double for Broken Bow.
Sometimes those strikes that weren't supposed to be strikes are the ones that can be the most motivating for the team, because you get fired off of shots like that.
And talk about fortuitous. Not only does that create the double, but it's a double into your anchor bowler who has 11 strikes through 4 games.
Wanting Herman to just keep doing what he's been doing, not that time.
Nearly a 20-pin lead. Almost a must strike, and Jewell does. That is a big shot to set it up now for the anchor Connor Schleter. Important spare here for Herman. And he covered it. Goes opposite side, but he got it. 186 possible for Broken Bow. 189 possible for North Bend. So if North Bend is going to close it out and win a state title here, he must strike right here. What a shot. And he knows it. He knows exactly what he needs to win the match. This good pin count here is really all that's relevant. Because even with a strike, he's going to shoot 186. And he does. So the strike there was important only in that it forces Schleter to get at least 8 on a count ball if he strikes here. But first, he must strike on this shot. Got it wide right, and it checked early. And so Broken Bow is going to win game number 4, and we're headed to a 5th and deciding game in the Class C title. Wow.
So here's a rare situation. You've got 2 very young teams, Broken Bow with 1 senior, North Bend with 1 senior, both teams that will likely be in this match again in the future, yeah. Which means they'll have players with experience on this in this situation in the future, which is advantageous for both of them. If you can get those nerves out of the way because you've done it before, that definitely helps.
You can connect with us on Facebook and Twitter, add a comment, or catch up on the latest Nebraska sports information. Just be sure to like NET Sports and Big Red Wrap-Up to join in the conversation.
Hunter Johnston, the sophomore up for North Bend right now, also is a baseball player for North Bend. Plays football. He actually played in the playoff game not too long ago.
Big shot to start it off for Hunter Johnston. And they've made a switch in the lineup here in game number 5, leading off with Johnston. Spare shooting has certainly been the Achilles heel of this North Bend squad. Had they just picked up one of the 2 makeables, they win the last game, and they're already state champions. And here is a 210 left for North Bend.
You know, we know North Bend can strike, evidenced by their high games. High games of 279. Connor Schleter's got 3 300s on his record. 267 high game for Andrew Crouch. Yeah. Caden Jewell, a high game of 279. We know these kids can strike. what Randy Dodge is working on with them is, like we've been saying, working on those spares.
Let's see which coach makes the adjustment here, because clearly you see a 210. We've seen a weak 10. We saw another light shot in the 10th. There's some carry down going on in the lane right now.
A carry down meaning that oil is getting pushed farther and farther down the lane with every shot that they make. You kind of imagine, picture a table full of salt or flour, and you push a marble through it. It moves down the table as it goes. The same thing happens on a lane. The oil gets pushed farther and farther down the lane, which requires you to make some adjustments as that oil is moving.
We talked about North Bend's errors. Broken Bow opens up this deciding fifth with back-to-back single pin misses. And there again, Mittis comes up light.
Shenton National Honor Society member carrying a 4.0 GPA.
Leaves the 10. So here is Mittis trying to convert a 10 pin and improve his team's spare percentage here in these finals, which is just 50%. And a good cover. He made an adjustment there because he had missed 2 6-10s earlier and converts the 10 there. And a conversion of the 10 pin. 10 pin advantage here in game number 5. This is the 5th and deciding for a state championship in Class C. Broken Bow and North Bend Central. The Tigers of North Bend Central came in the prohibitive favorite. Crossover and a strike. That's the second time he's gone Brooklyn side. It's one of those where you just put your head down and walk back and
say thank you.
Yep. They don't ask how, they just ask how many. Unless you're a coach, you ask how.
Score sheet shows an X like all the other ones.
That's right. Bumgarner. Good shot, but does not get the 4 to fall.
Bumgarner, only a freshman, but already looking to go to UNL after he graduates from high school and go into veterinary science.
Tug that one. That goes Brooklyn. Leaves a 3-9. That was quick feet. Got there early. Pulled it across the body and went Brooklyn. Needs to hook. Third single pin miss in the first 4 frames for this Broken Bow squad. They're going to stay in it though. North Bend not capitalizing.
Woodward, one who works at Bumgarner's Family Cafe in Broken Bow, also is a football athlete, baseball athlete, and a track athlete.
So they entered this 5th frame down by 20, but a mark here by Woodward, and they can pull to within 10. Two sides will switch. Boy, this is, just look at the averages of these two teams and the history, the number of times here, the number of championships. This really is kind of a David versus Goliath. The 5-time defending champs taking on a team looking for its first ever title. And there is Schlueter.
Larry, if you're the coach of Broken Bow, how do you handle that David versus Goliath situation? Do you acknowledge it?
Yes.
Do you? Okay.
We have nothing to lose.
Right.
Right? No one expects us to win.
Right.
But today's a great day to be a champion.
Right.
Yeah, embrace it. Many times that can free all the pressure when you look at this coming in is on North Bend. They're the team expected to win. They're the team that's won 5 in a row.
So let the pressure fall onto them.
Yeah. Now, in order to make that happen, you need to put a little bit of pressure back on them. Ooh, what a shot. Nearly converted, and that is by, staying clean early in that 5th, because if you can convert those single pins and all of a sudden North Bend is behind, and now they begin to say, oh my gosh, right?
And if North Bend is, if Broken Bow is looking at the score sheet and noticing the difference in who's converting spares here, us or them, let's play that to our advantage. Let's continue to stay as clean as we can on those spares, because that's going to be the difference maker.
Well, and again, North Bend with its 3rd open here of this game, and Broken Bow an opportunity to spare and at least get back to within striking distance where they could maybe turn it over to Herman in a 10th frame and say, go win it for us. But this is an important spare here to just stay close. Got it.
These situations where every shot counts. You've picked up those spares a million times. That 9-pin spare that we just saw shoot, he's shot that how many times?
Yeah.
But all of a sudden it feels like it's the first time because of the pressure of the situation you're in. And another open for North Bend.
Back-to-back opens. 4th open through 8 frames for North Bend. And now, a mark here, and we're back to even. And we head to the final 2 frames even. Good break there.
Makes
5
it easier.
pin, much easier. And now an important 9th frame here to put some pressure on. Johnston got it wide. Ooh. Just missed right. Didn't pick up as he had hoped. And that is a very difficult 2-4-10. Baumgartner needs this spare, and he got it.
So now the trick for Broken Bow is to not get mentally ahead of themselves. It's going to take a lot for Kate and Jewel to convert this spare. It is not an easy spare. It's makeable, but it's not easy.
And so they put in a sub here to pick it up. Smart move here. This is the kind of coaching moves that really pay off. Randy Dodge knows that Jewel can hook the ball across the lane and have a better opportunity. Almost
great attempt
converted.
at that.
But it's those little, we talked about this yesterday, the little coaching moves within the match, moving somebody, giving another person an opportunity, understanding my player's strengths that make a difference in winning a championship or not, and it nearly paid off there for North Bend. Now, it's a 2-pin advantage right now for North Bend, but Broken Bow needs this mark. So you see there, 113, 111 in the 8th, but North Bend opened in the 9th. No chance for North Bend to shut out Broken Bow, but a strike there is huge, because now where does the pressure go back? It goes right back on Woodward, who has decided to go right after the 10, waste no time, and he was money. Did not waste a second. The crowd was still applauding and went up there and converted. And what he has now done, he's given his anchor an opportunity to go win a state championship.
Broken Bow working off of a spare in the 9th.
No.
North Bend working off of an open in the 9th.
North Bend needs a strike here to force Herman to strike. And it got it. Huge shot. 152 is the best for North Bend. Must strike now situation for Broken Bow. No choice but to strike here for Herman, or Broken Bow wins it. Does not get the carry, and Broken Bow will fall just short. 8 pins now is all North Bend needs. Schlueter needs 8 pins to potentially tie, 9 pins to shut him out. So I maybe got ahead of myself, because this is going to be an important spare, and Schlueter will let Herman I believe, go first. So a must spare here for Herman. Got it. So here's the situation. Connor Schlueter now up, the anchor bowler for North Bend. 8 pins, 9 pins to win. 9 pins would give them 151 and a state title. Needs 9. Does he get it? He did! 6 consecutive state championships for North Bend.
Look at the relief on North Bend. This was a hard-fought win.
David almost took down Goliath. What a performance by Broken Bow.
Good for them.
And he closes it out with the one that he wanted one shot ago. 152, 150 in the final. And North Bend has won 6 consecutive state championships. What a way to open up our coverage of the 2018 Nebraska High School Bowling Federation State Championships right here on NET. North Bend winning 6 in a row. Pins and medals when we come back on NET.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
What do you think about going to college?
I'm kind of scared.
I feel nervous a little bit. That's kind of a tough one. I'm not really sure yet.
I'm excited for college.
How are you going to pay for it?
To be honest, I don't really know.
That's actually a really good question.
So what if you had a friend you could ask?
Let's talk about public power for a second. Did you know Nebraska is the only state in the nation served entirely by public power electric utilities? Community-owned utilities mean Nebraskans are working for Nebraskans. Just another way your electric utility shows how public power works for you. Let's talk about public power for a second. Did you know Nebraska's electric utilities are governed by locally elected or appointed boards and councils? This means you have a voice in the decisions made by your local utility. Just another way your electric utility shows how public power works for you.
Whether it's spring planting, fall harvesting, or just a drive across the state, soy biodiesel helps a diesel-powered engine operate in a demanding job. Soybean oil from Nebraska soybeans makes biodiesel a renewable fuel that's also environmentally responsible. The soybean checkoff plays a major role in supporting the use and availability of biodiesel. The Nebraska Soybean Board, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Funding for the NHSBF State Championships was provided by the Lincoln Bowling Association through grants from the Bear Foundation and the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation. Reminding you that over 1,000 high school students compete statewide in varsity bowling.
What a final in Class C. It went down to the final game, to the final shot. 152-150, North Bend wins the title. Let's go down to with some state champs.
Connor, you needed 9 pins on that last shot to capture the title. What's going through your mind as you're getting ready to make that shot?
It was one of the most important shots in my life, and I knew I needed to throw a good one, and I knew it was going to hit the pocket.
Well, congratulations. And Coach, you are moving on to coach at the collegiate level after this, an unprecedented 6 state championships in a row for you. What does it mean to be leaving the program with 6 titles in a row?
I think it's pretty amazing, actually. I mean, this year was kind of a grind for the kids. I'm proud of them. You know, I had to leave kind of in the beginning of the year to head to Waterloo, to Hawkeye, to start that program there. And I'd asked, we had a meeting, we asked kids, you know, if I could come back and we could do the districts and stay and try to finish it out right. And they all said, yeah, absolutely. So we come back at districts, and, you know, it was kind of a little odd. We kind of did mesh as well right away, you know, being away. But we kind of found a way to make sure we got to stay here, and today they just, you know, responded great. It was an amazing weekend.
Worked out well for you. Congratulations on your 6th state title. Larry, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks very much, and congratulations once again to Randy Dodge and the North Bend Tigers for the 6th consecutive year they are state champs. Time now to present pins and trophies to the champs and the runners-up, and for that we go down to our public address announcer.
Ladies and gentlemen, how about another nice round of applause for our two contestants? And now for the awards presentation. Your Class C boys runner-up, the Broken Bow Indians. Head coach Chuck Herman, assistant coach Ryan Nielsen. Sam Shent. Sawyer Brumgarter. Wyatt Woodward. Shay Herman. Brady Schaaf. Tyler Thomas. Buddy Osmond. Gentlemen, here's your runner-up trophy. Congratulations to Broken Bow, your Class C boys runner-up. Now here's your 2018 Class C boys champions, North Bend Central Tigers. Head coach Randy Dodge. Assistant coach Dan Watts. Peyton Metis. Connor Schleter. Andrew Crouch. Hunter Johnston. Caden Jewell. Evan Balch. Gentlemen, there's your bracket and your championship trophy. And there you have it. There's your 2018 Class C Boys State Champions, the North Bend Central Tigers.
Well, congratulations once again to the Tigers, and those pins that those players hold are, well, they hold special importance. They are only made for the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation through a partnership that John Lucido has with AMF, and if you get one of those pins, they're the only kind that they make. Very, very special. And a championship for the 6th consecutive year for North Bend. What a way to kick off these 2018 championships. When we come back, we move to Class B. A championship on the line. Roncalli and York. Somebody's going to get their first ever title. Stay with us.
Methodist College is small, and the faculty is very involved. I feel that they care about how I'm doing.
Nebraska Methodist put clinical work right there with the schoolwork. I knew I was going to be helping patients even during school.
Since starting Nebraska Methodist College, I have learned a lot about myself. I love to learn, and I want to keep progressing and make an impact on patients.
Have you ever wondered what happens to soybeans after they're harvested? Every year, soybean farmers invest a portion of their soybean revenue to fund research, marketing, and promotion, which is called the Nebraska Soybean Checkoff. 80% of the harvested soybeans are crushed into soybean meal that's used to feed poultry and livestock. The other 20% is made into soybean oil that's used for cooking oil and biodiesel. To learn more about the Nebraska Soybean Checkoff, nebraskasoybeans.org.
Funding for the NHSBF State Championships was provided by the Lincoln Bowling Association through grants from the Bear Foundation and the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation. Reminding you that over 1,000 high school students compete statewide in varsity bowling.
Your car has been with you a long time, through the months and years. Now it's time to let it go. Donate it. Support the programming you love.
Are you missing the green grass and color from your garden? Well, be sure to watch Lifestyle Gardening on NET, coming to you in January. Backyard Farmer presents Lifestyle Gardening will help you get prepared for the upcoming gardening season with tips on making your outdoor living space vibrant and beautiful. Be sure to watch Backyard Farmer presents Lifestyle Gardening, January 19th at 10 a.m. Central on NET.
NET supports those who have driven miles of Nebraska highways. Those who have paid their share of admission fees. Those who have worn their school colors faithfully. Those who have practiced, practiced, practiced. And those who have stood on the sidelines. NET supports those who have supported Nebraska high school athletes.
And welcome back to Sun Valley Lanes here in Lincoln. I want to remind you, if you'd like a copy of this year's Nebraska High School Bowling Federation State Championships, and we just had a good one in Class C, you can log on to our website at nhsbf.com, follow the prompts, order a DVD, and preserve these memories for a lifetime. Time to look at the two teams competing for the Class B Boys State Championship. And we'll start with Ron Colley. Head coach Mike Riccardi in his second year. He took over the program last year. Casey Kubas, the senior. In fact, this is a very senior-laden team. Jordan Riccardi. The only sophomore is Kaylee Bergstrom. Jeremy Townley is a senior. Double D is a senior. Frisbee and Rico, all seniors for this Ron Colley squad. York High. Preston Smith is a junior. 4 juniors at the top there. Jacob Korn, Matt Peterson, Colton Rhodes, Nathan Christensen, and Hayden Powers is the sophomore for the Dukes of York. Should be a good one in the Class B state title. Ron Colley and York. When we come back here at Sun Valley Lanes in Lincoln. Stay with us.
Funding for the NHSBF State Championships was provided by the Lincoln Bowling Association through grants from the Bear Foundation and the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation. Reminding you that over 1,000 high school students compete statewide in varsity bowling.
Have you ever wondered what happens to soybeans after they're harvested? Every year, soybean farmers invest a portion of their soybean revenue to fund research, marketing, and promotion, which is called the Nebraska Soybean Checkoff. 80% of the harvested soybeans are crushed into soybean meal that's used to feed poultry and livestock. The other 20% is made into soybean oil that's used for cooking oil and biodiesel. To learn more about the Nebraska Soybean Checkoff, nebraskasoybeans.org.
Methodist College is small, and the faculty is very involved. I feel that they care about how I'm doing.
Nebraska Methodist put clinical work right there with the schoolwork. I knew I was going to be helping patients even during school.
Since starting Nebraska Methodist College, I have learned a lot about myself. I love to learn, and I want to keep progressing and make an impact on patients.
Hi, I'm Perry Stoner, inviting you to join the NET Sports Partners Club. With your support, NET brings you hours of sports action year-round. NET is your home for Husker Volleyball, Big Red Wrap-Up, and high school championships. NET is Nebraska's home for sports, and sports partners like you make it happen. Log on to netnebraska.org and explore the benefits of joining, like tailgate parties and meet and greet events. Take pride in knowing your support puts the action in NET sports.
Back at Sun Valley Lanes here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Watch NET Sports anytime, anywhere. Download the free NET Nebraska app. Watch college player profiles, full-length episodes from Big Red Wrap-Up, live web streams, and so much more. Search for NET Nebraska in the App Store or download it free at netnebraska.org/apps. Here we go, underway. Ron Colley up first, and Casey Kubas, the quick start for Ron Colley. Up on the right lane, York High. Preston Smith, the junior, will lead it off for York. Needs to react, comes in a bit light. Leaves the 2-pin. Back to the left lane now, working on a strike. Here's Jordan Riccardi. Riccardi in the opposite pocket, trips the 10 out of there, leaves a 7-pin. Still some work for Riccardi. For the Dukes of York, this is their third ever appearance in the finals as that slides by the 2-pin. Third ever appearance for York, and the first ever for Ron Colley. Ron Colley has made state the last 2 years, but lost in round one both times. Last year they lost to eventual champion Seward.
Coach Mike Riccardi says that this is the best season this team has ever had.
These two teams were big underdogs as they came out of the bracket. In fact, if you look at the 6 teams that were here at state after the qualifying round, which is total pinfall through a couple of games, these two teams were 5th and 6th, last and next to last, but they got hot at the right time. Knocked off 2 higher seeded teams, did both of these. Ron Colley knocked off Hardington, and Ron Colley knocked off Seward, number 1 Seward, to make it here. A little high. York with the win over Waverly, which was the 3rd seed, and then beat number 2 Grand Island Northwest. And we saw the Northwest girls yesterday. And that is how York has made it to their 3rd appearance here at state. Awful deep for Colton Rhodes. I mean, off the top, he's playing inside of, looks like around 3 or 4 on a fresh oil condition.
Hopefully Coach Brent Gage can help him recognize that and make a move.
Jeremy Townley with the strike. So 2 strikes for Ron Colley in its first 4 frames, and York still looking for its first mark. And they got it. So Colton Rhodes puts him on the board. Now up on the left lane, here's Joseph Doubledy. Doubledy says very cool under pressure. He's getting that tested here today. There's no doubt about that. As if there ever was pressure, it's certainly in this environment. Here's Matt Peterson. Matt with a great shot. Flush, 10 in the pit for Matt. Much better part of the lane for Matt. Is looks like he's starting out at about 8, maybe letting it get out to around 5 or 6 before picking up. Chops the 1-3 off the 9. Both teams now multiple opens here in these first 5 frames. Opportunity here for York to double. This would be big. Ethan Christensen got it. Good shot by Christensen. He's just a freshman. Bowling on that anchor spot. Gets the high five from Coach Brett Gage.
He seems to enjoy that anchor spot. He says his favorite memory from this season was bowling the anchor spot in the semifinals. Hopefully he can best that memory by making it bowling the anchor in the finals.
Back on that left lane. Here is Preston Smith. And again, comes up just a little light. It looks like if Preston also could just maybe make a 3-2 move right, maybe 5-3. And both of his first 2 shots have come up light. It's just get into the right part of the lane and you'll have success. Just as Casey Kubas has. That's her second strike, and she's playing in the right part of the lane.
Well, I'm not sure while they were practicing if they felt lined up then. Sometimes the practice, you're a lot more, when you're getting ready for a match like this, you're a lot more relaxed and calm because it's just practice.
Yep.
And you feel like you've gotten lined up, and then you can be doing, and be lined up, and then you get into a situation like this and you get ramped up a little bit, and so now you've got to either calm yourself down and let the alignment that you found work, or make some sort of change so that you can find an alignment that's going to work for you.
Well, a double by York in the 4th and 5th frames has put him in a great position. Here's the lefty, crosses over, leaves the 5-8. Will put them in a 19-pin advantage. Roncalli has actually struck more than York, but York put them back to back. Cannot get the 6-pin to fall. 93-7 for Roncalli. And chops the 5 off of the 8. And Roncalli has yet to pick up a spare here in this first game. Kaylee Bergstrom with the strike. Boy, the 2 young ladies for this Roncalli squad are striking. Casey Kubas with a couple of strikes. Bergstrom with the strike there. And again, just not going to react from that deep. And until he makes that move to the right,
he's going to keep coming
in
light.
Have that same reaction. Ooh, tried to trip that 4-pin forward, and the shot by Townley. Townley averages 192. That's got to get back up. Thank goodness for the wall, huh? Colton Rhodes takes the head pin off the wall, comes off and trips the 4-pin. And Townley with the cover. Again, averages 192. Backbone of the team, says Coach Mike Riccardi. And the first spare of the game there for Roncalli.
Matt Peterson, the junior, up right now for York, talked about how bowling has really created a family for him. He's an only child, but that his bowling team is his family. He's not the only one on the team who said that. Jacob Korn also said that his team is like his family. So Coach Brent Gage has created a really great atmosphere for these boys.
Got 2 from Double D is light. And just got 1 in the 10th. That opens the door up. Actually, that's going to give an opportunity here for Roncalli, but they must have a spare here in the 10th. Well, this is an important one. Got it. Big shot. 150 possible for Roncalli. That means York has to mark. But the last time up, Nathan Christensen struck, crosses over and off the wall for the strike. Dumbledy now trying to get 10 to force as many pins as possible. You see Brett Gage right there talking to his player in the background. Brent telling him, I don't care if you strike, just get this many pins. And 6 makes it a little bit easier, because now all he needs is 1 pin in 2 shots. And that's going to do it. Game number 1 goes to York.
When I talked with Coach Brent Gage of York about what he's most proud of this team, he talked about the unity of the team. He said they absolutely never give up. They come together as a team. They support one another. He said they've struggled a little bit, but they've really bowled well at state, and that it's been a productive year for this team.
Game number 1 goes to the Dukes, 154-146. You see there York with 2 opens to start that game, but then they got hot. 7 spare. Those 2 strikes were big.
Preston Smith, the junior for York right now, says that he's a very accurate spare shooter. That's one of the strengths that he feels he brings to the team. Carries a 145 average, high game of 203.
Starting off now is going to be Kaylee Bergstrom. Bergstrom struck her last time up and strikes again. So a lineup change here by Mike Riccardi. Changes his leadoff spot, and my guess is it's probably to get Casey Kubis a little bit in a different position in the order, because she did strike in both of her lane appearances. Good cover to start it off by Preston Smith.
Coach Mike Riccardi of Roncalli has got a lot more than just a state championship on the line right now. He bet his team that if they won districts, they could shave his head, which they did. You notice he's got quite a short hairdo that he's sporting today. He then told them that if they could win state, he'll put on a dress and run around the track.
Mike, that's brave. Congrats. That's
that shaved head and that dress are going to go well together. And in the winter, nonetheless.
After the shaved head, I was almost afraid what you were going to say.
But he had a lot of love for this team. He was kind of emotional yesterday when we were talking about this team, and he just said he loves them so much. He's going to miss them next year. He's got a very, almost all seniors on his team. They're heading out the door at the end of the year. But he's got a lot of love for these kids.
So both teams open up with a mark and then follow that up with opens. So 28-26 here. Roncalli with the early lead in game number 2. York won the first and leads it 1-0. 154-146 was the score in that game 1.
Colton Rhodes for York is a Pepsi tournament winner. He's also been on the junior tour as a runner-up.
Trying to work it backwards into that 1-2 pocket with the backup ball. Makeable spare here, but a very difficult split, but certainly makeable.
Another one of those ones that you can make an adjustment off of your strike shot.
Got 3 the hard way.
Got 3 the hard way. Jordan Riccardi up now for Roncalli, a senior heading off to Metro Community College in the fall, planning to study criminal justice.
So both teams go 6-3, and Roncalli right now just shooting 25% on spare conversions. A couple of nice shots by Matt Peterson. He struck back in the 4th frame of game number 1 as well. Then went 9 spare.
Casey Kubis, the senior for Roncalli, another one heading off to college in the fall. She's headed off to Wayne State to study criminal justice.
First time that Kubis hasn't struck on the 7 count. She went striking the 1st, striking the 6th. They've moved her into that 4 spot now. Ooh, just chops them off the 10, so 7-2. And York has regained the lead. And again, 3 straight opens for Roncalli.
Nathan Christensen with a high game of 229. Nice spare for him.
That's a big shot by Townley. Well, that'd be a good time for you to connect with us on Facebook. Check us out on Twitter as well. Follow NET at facebook.com/NET Sports. Bergstrom leaves the 1-3. So Smith back up on the right-hand lane.
And Smith, grateful to have him here today. He talked about the multiple heart attacks he had in the state finals to get here today. Glad he made it through.
Chops one off, and once again, Roncalli has been striking. That's been the problem. It's just converting their spares. That's 4 misses in the first 6 frames here in this game. And meanwhile, York just continues to pile on the spares.
I see this blue ball that Joseph Doubledy is getting ready to throw. It says honor ball. He calls it the tank because he says it destroys them pins. See if it, some of them.
Yep.
Do you ever nickname a bowling ball?
I didn't.
No?
Did you?
Nope.
You just went through them so quickly. And so many. Didn't have time to get a name. I think I've called a few a name or two, but it's never my fault.
No, never. When I asked Coach Gage of York who the leader is on his team, he was another coach that said none of them have really emerged as the leader on the team, but that they're all leaders in their own way. They all find different ways to motivate each other and really be there for each other.
Riccardi leaves the single pin, and now on the right-hand lane, there's Colton Rhodes again. Let's see if he has moved outside a bit or still deep. Yeah, you can see how deep he's playing, and again,
it's just not able to come back.
He's not getting the reaction he wants, and good coverage there for the first spare of this game for Roncalli. And I think we heard Brent Gage say to Colton Rhodes, we'll have to make a ball change after this. Probably could stay with the same ball. He's just a good 10 boards or maybe 2 arrows inside of where he should be. Watch where this goes over. Yeah, that went over inside third area.
But you see, still didn't move a whole lot.
Yeah, no, straight at it.
And he's got a lot of turn on the ball.
I've seen Rhodes bowl before. He's got a nice game. It's just sometimes when you're playing the wrong part of the lane and you don't make that adjustment, you don't pick it up. Sometimes you struggle and wonder why.
And it doesn't matter how good you throw it.
No.
If it's catching oil and won't move anywhere, that's a problem.
Well, Matt Peterson now on the right-hand lane. He's had success. You see where his right foot is, his left foot is right at 20. It's going to roll over about 12. Picked up a little early.
He said he started at 20. It looked like he slid at about 20 also, which you can kind of underestimate the power of sliding in the same place that you started. I can't tell you how many people I've seen that start in one spot and end in a completely different spot and have no idea that they do that. So it's definitely worth paying attention to. Where does my foot start and where does my foot stop? And do I need to work on just simply walking straight?
So you and I, we both played for Coach Bill Straub in Nebraska. And I think, he was a disciple of Bill Taylor. And one of the things Bill Taylor would always start with is first, what is the makeup of your hand? Do you have a typically dry hand? And the other thing, number 2 was, do you walk straight? And not just straight, but is it consistent? So, if you start at 20, slide at 20, that's great, unless the next time you slide at 20 or stand at 20 and slide at 23.
It was always something, when we threw a shot that didn't go where we wanted it to go, first thing we did was look down at our foot and see, did I slide where I wanted to slide? Because that impacts the decision that I'm going to make. If I slid way far left, maybe I don't need to make a change with the ball and I don't need to make a change with my release. I just need to walk straighter.
In coaching our players, one of the first things we do is we will work an entire week on what is your drift. Let's be consistent. Log every shot. Where are you standing? Where did you slide? So we can try to pick up a tendency. And if they have a drift that's more than a board or two, then it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Because now you can't be consistent.
Drift meaning how far to the left or to the right are you ending up from where you started.
Right.
The greater the drift, the more inaccurate you're going to be.
How many times have you heard a bowler say, I hit what I was looking at, but it didn't do anything? Well, maybe you just drifted 5
you
boards
need to look at your foot.
right or left. All the nuances is you see 149, 131.
Those of you watching at home wanting to work on that drift, easy way to do that, lay a towel down.
Right.
Lay a towel down where the left side or the right side, depending on which foot you slide with, lay it down on the approach right in front of the foul line. If you hit it, you've drifted.
Yeah.
Kaylee,
3-5-10. This is a tough one.
The lone sophomore in the team, credits her grandpa with helping her become better. Says he's always been at matches and he really helps her when she struggles.
So back to the top of the order now for York, and bright spot here for the Dukes is Preston Smith, who has marked 3 consecutive times. Trying to make it 4 and give York an early lead here in game number 3.
Coach talked about how Preston is always there to help his teammates, whether it's something personal or in bowling. Jordan Riccardi for Ron Colley. Jacob Korn there for York is a 124 average bowler with a high game of 195.
Got it. There's a spare for Roncalli. And Korn now the lefty. Good cover for the Dukes.
Joseph Doubledy now for Roncalli, the seniors, heading off to Metro Community College, going to study precision machinery.
Huh. Sounds intimidating.
And precise.
Let's see what kind of adjustments he has switched balls. So new ball here for Colton Rhodes. Is he still playing the same part? He is still very deep. Crossover and gets the carry. Early advantage here to the Dukes, who have 3 marks through 3 frames, and Roncalli with a couple of opens. It's going to be right around the pocket. Slaps the 10 out. Big double there for the Dukes. Here's Casey Kubas. Kubas right off the corner, crosses over. Good break to trip forward that 6-pin and leave just the 5.
Made that spare much easier for her.
Nathan Christensen now. Anchor bowler and a freshman. Very smooth, straight up the boards, gets the carry. Can't get the 5-pin out. And Kubas cannot convert. Roncalli's conversion woes just continue.
As much as you hate to leave that 5-pin, it's an easy spare to make if you can just shoot your strike shot again.
Good cover. There you go, Christensen with the conversion.
Jeremy Townley, another senior on the team, heading to Metro Community College to study HVAC in the fall.
So these two teams will switch sides here in game number 3, and that is as you look at the score, the first clean 5 for either team. York goes clean in the front 5. Can they do it on the back 5? If they do, my guess is they're going to go up 2-1. Well, sports fans, NET is for you. We bring you more Nebraska high school sports than any other Nebraska network. For more information on dates, times, DVD sales, and available webcasts, visit netnebraska.org/sports. It's been a busy fall of championships right here on NET. Of course, we brought you the boys state football championships, the girls state volleyball championships, now the boys and girls state bowling championships. Nebraska volleyball, of course, has moved on to the NCAA tournament after wins at home. Wins in the regional final over Oregon.
Larry, talk about how unique it is that high school state bowling is televised. I don't know of another state that does that.
Yeah, for many years, the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation was the only televised state high school finals in an arena type of setting where everything gets shut down around. You have the stands in the back, place for fans to come in. It's just a terrific environment for these high school athletes. And John Lucido and his crew and staff here at Sun Valley Lanes do such a terrific job. John is very well connected nationally in the bowling industry. And I don't think you can see John back to the back there, the left. There's John straight back. That's his throne, and he doesn't leave that throughout the day. If you can get John to move off of that, it would be nothing short of a miracle. Now, usually he snaps his finger, and people will bring him things to eat and drink throughout the broadcast.
He really is a great, great advocate for the sport of bowling, locally and across the country.
I think we realize how lucky we are here in Lincoln and Nebraska to have somebody as well connected.
Absolutely.
The national scene and even internationally. You know, much of what Cubica AMF does from a development perspective is beta tested right here at Sun Valley Lane. So we're the first to see some of the best innovation in the world. He makes frequent trips to Italy. We always feel bad for him when he has to go.
Oh, yes. Such a tough job. But, we talked with him before the broadcast about even the technology that he brings in to Sun Valley, even in the machine that he uses to oil the lanes. It's very, very advanced technology that they're bringing in to Sun Valley lanes.
Shot by Dumbledy, not quite back into the pocket, and you wonder now if Dumbledy, who has hit the pocket a couple of times today, may be experiencing a little carry down. After that clean 5, York has gone open, and now a very difficult spare conversion here. Colton Rhodes. And here's the importance of spares in a match. Roncalli in this match with 9 strikes, York with just 6, and yet they're even at 1 apiece, and York with a commanding 30-pin lead here in game number 3.
Three of York's players even talked about how they consider the strength of their game to be their spare shooting.
Important shot here. Roncalli's going to try to get back into this, string something together. York has tried to open the door for them with 3 consecutive opens, and now here just a 5-pin should be a fairly makeable spare for Matt Peterson.
Peterson still has 1 year of school left, but after he graduates, he's planning to attend SCC in Milford to be a diesel mechanic.
And the conversion. So still a 20-pin advantage, though, even though York has opened 4 consecutive frames. 20-pin lead, even if Roncalli were to strike at the first ball in the 10th. 144 is the best Roncalli can shoot. So all that York needs here is a mark, and they got it. York is going to go on top.
And from the freshman. Good for him.
Off the wall, got it. Been watching Jeremy Townley bowl since he was a freshman when he started on this Roncalli team. So York's going to end up with about a 150. Let's see what we get here for count. 153, 154, 153. 153. And 133 for Roncalli. So a 2-1 lead for York as these Dukes trying to pick up their first ever state championship. Now celebrating its 10th season, the popular award-winning series Nebraska Stories returns on January 17th at 8 p.m. Central on NET. Each Thursday night you can enjoy smart, compelling, playful, and inspiring stories about people you know and folks you'd like to know. The new season of Nebraska Stories begins in January on NET. Crossover, got the strike. Good start to what could be a state championship game number 4 here for the Dukes. Deep breath here for the lefty, Jacob Korn. Straight up the boards, and Korn is going to flirt with that 10 pin and not get it out.
Coach Gage, talked about the huge strides that Jacob has made this year. He just loves to bowl. He's the only lefty on the team, but just has made such improvement throughout the season.
Hang on. Just slid off the edge.
Looks like a substitution for Roncalli.
Number 35 now in for Roncalli. This is Hunter Frisbee. Frisbee, a senior. You heard right away Mike Riccardi say, pick it up. That's exactly what they need. Just some spares. String some spares together. See, that got out a little bit further. That's going to react. Not a surprise there. Finally makes that move to the right, or maybe the ball just got a little further right. Able to pick up the lane. It read a little sooner and flush in the pocket.
If he can just keep riding it down that line, he'll be just fine.
And a good spare there for Roncalli. Back-to-back spares.
Matt Peterson up now for York. Also a golfer.
Solid shot once again for Matt Peterson. Back-to-back now for York.
You see Double D throwing the tank again. He is a very great shot by Double D. Very involved in his community. He volunteers at the Open Door Mission, volunteers with the Salvation Army, and with the Red Cross.
That comes in. A good shot there. Thought that was going to be a three-bagger. Oh, he wanted that. You see the reaction from Christensen. So now up on the right-hand lane, Jordan Riccardi with 3 straight marks for Roncalli. They have not had 4 straight marks yet today. Can Riccardi deliver here? It is an even game, number 4. Good cover by Christensen. And now Riccardi's turn to answer.
Riccardi credits his dad.
Got it.
For helping him improve by practicing with him every day.
For the first time today, Roncalli with 4 straight marks. And now up is Jeremy Townley. Townley gets the 5 out, not the 7. Last game, the Dukes had a clean front 5. Roncalli needs this spare to have its clean front 5.
Jeremy talked about his strength he sees as setting people up. If he can, great spare right there, if he can continue that, just making marks, now he's set up. The leadoff bowler is going to go into the 6th frame now to start stringing together a solid back half of the game and keep this clean game going.
So you see dead even here as we head to the back half of game number 4. Both of these teams we mentioned earlier looking for the school's first ever boys state championship. Roncalli first ever appearance in the finals. They made state the last 2 seasons but lost in round 1 in both years. Last year they lost to the eventual state champion Seward. York has made 3 appearances down here in the TV finals. This is their 3rd. The previous 2 times they were down here, they faced Pius 10th in the championship in both 2012 and 2017. They finished runner-up in both of those years. They've been down here at state for the last 5 years, has York. In fact, in the last 11 years, only one school outside of Hastings or Pius X has won a Class B boys title. One of these two teams will become the second. Crossed over and got the 10 out. Of course, both Pius and Hastings moving up to Class A this year.
Another look at Hunter Frisbee, the senior, is also a trap shooter. He's in the a cappella choir and participates in band.
Both times we've congratulated a team for having a clean front five. They've come out and not converted in the sixth frame. 5-pin lead right now for Roncalli. A Roncalli win here sends this to a deciding fifth, which makes this spare right here even more important for Roncalli.
Coach Mike Riccardi talked about how that one pin isn't going to count because it came out of the gutter. He talked about how they have obtained every goal that they've set for themselves this year, and of course winning a state championship was a goal for them. And we talked earlier about the deal that he made with his team if they win it. But he said they are a great team at working through adversity, which will serve them well in these next few moments.
So big shot here for the Crimson Pride. Get the mixer, they do. That is an important shot for Double D and his Roncalli team. As back-to-back opens has given York a lead. See, it's still too far inside. Last time he did get it out though, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, this is Roncalli's first time in the championship. This is going to be Coach Mike Riccardi's last season as a coach. When we talked yesterday, he talked about even though he's stepping down as coach, he is really hoping that the NSAA is going to take up the vote to bring high school bowling on as a sanctioned sport. Really sees that as an advantage and wonderful opportunities to open up for kids if the NSAA can bring that on as a varsity sport.
It was passed in the November meetings in 2 different districts, close in a third. So it will go to the next meeting in January, where as long as 3 districts pass it, it would then head to the General Assembly, where the hope is that next year bowling could be what would be the beginning of a sanctioned sport in the Nebraska School Activities Association. Once again, Matt Peterson has just been a star for this York squad.
Like you said, that next vote is coming up in January, and then the final vote is going to happen in April. Still some ADs that could use some persuasion. If you haven't gone to talk to your school's athletic director or your district's athletic director, talk to them about it. Tell them that you want high school bowling to be sanctioned as a varsity sport in high school.
So a strike here by York, and they're state champions. Must spare here for Roncalli. Combined here in this match, in these 4 games, these 2 teams have left the head pin 30 times. Just not getting lined up.
Mm-hmm.
That is just not making the moves to get into the right part of the lane. These bowlers are just too talented to not have that happen. Great spare. 1 pin is all he needs now. And that's given a strike here, and that'll do it. Not enough. 152 for Roncalli. Already York has 154. And the Dukes have won that school's first ever state championship.
Go freshmen.
State champs! Congratulations to York. They win the Class B title, a first for the Dukes. Great season for Ron Colley, a nice run through the bracket here at the boys Class B state tournament. When we come back, we will present medals and trophies and championship pins to our champs from York right here on NET Sports. Stay with us.
The values that Methodists bring is family.
It's important going through school that you're not just a number, that you're a face and that you're a name to a teacher. And so I loved the small class sizes.
What it means to me is that I found my foundation where I can build on my passion and I can embrace something new in my life. It is a place where I know that I'm supposed to be.
Funding for the NHSBF State Championships was provided by the Lincoln Bowling Association through grants from the Bear Foundation and the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation. Reminding you that over 1,000 high school students compete statewide in varsity bowling.
What do you think about going to college?
I'm kind of scared.
I feel nervous a little bit. That's kind of a tough one. I'm not really sure yet.
I'm excited for college.
How are you going to pay for it?
To be honest, I don't really know.
That's actually a really good question.
So what if you had a friend you could ask?
Follow Nebraskans doing extraordinary things when Nebraska Stories begins its 10th season this January. Nebraska Stories crisscrossing the state, making new discoveries and reminding us of our rich heritage. Nebraska Stories lets us know who we are, where we've been, and where we're going. Stories worth sharing, stories worth hearing. The new season of Nebraska Stories begins Thursday night, January 17th at 8 Central on NET.
Back at Sun Valley Lanes in Lincoln, Nebraska, York has just taken home a boys Class B state championship with the champs. Let's go down on the lane.
Matt, congratulations. Out of 8 frames, you had 5 strikes. What kind of preparation does it take to be that consistent in a high-pressure situation like this?
I mean, just practice whenever you can. Just go out and bowl. That's pretty much it.
Lots and lots of practice. Well, congratulations. Coach, you've been coaching for 18 years. This is your second appearance, first win for York. What does it mean to you to bring this state championship home?
No words. It was amazing to watch these boys develop this year. And yesterday they fought really hard to get here. So they deserve it. The boys did it all.
Well, congratulations. First ever state championship for York. You're bringing it home. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Larry, back to you.
Thank you very much, Carla, and congratulations to Brent and his Dukes of York. Time now to present medals and trophies to our runner-up and state champs. Let's go to our public address announcer.
Ladies and gentlemen, how about another nice round of applause for our 2 finalists? And now for the awards presentation. Your Class B boys runner-up, Roncalli Catholic. Head coach Mike Riccardi. Casey Cubes. Jordan Riccardi. Kaylee Bergstrom. Jeremy Townley. Joseph Double D. Hunter Frisbee. John Recco. Gentlemen, here's your runner-up trophy. Congratulations to Roncalli Catholic, your Class B boys runner-up. And now, here's your 2018 Class B boys state champions, York High School. Head coach Brent Gage. Assistant coach, Shannon Sweeney, Longstrom.
It's Longstrom, I know. Don't give me a hard time. I told you I was going to put some.
Preston Smith. Jacob Korn. Matt Peterson. Colton Rhodes. Nathan Christensen. Hayden Powers. Gentlemen, here's your bracket and your championship trophy. Congratulations to your 2018 Class B boy state champions, York High. And
congratulations to York, your Class B state champs. First ever for that school. When we come back, Class A state championship on the line. It's a rematch from just a couple of years ago. Northeast and Fremont will battle for the title right here on NAT Sports.
Whether it's spring planting, fall harvesting, or just a drive across the state, soy biodiesel helps a diesel-powered engine operate in a demanding job. Soybean oil from Nebraska soybeans makes biodiesel a renewable fuel that's also environmentally responsible. The soybean checkoff plays a major role in supporting the use and availability of biodiesel. The Nebraska Soybean Board, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Let's talk about public power for a second. Nebraska's electric utilities use a diverse mix of fuel resources to generate electricity. Wind, water, coal, nuclear, natural gas, solar, and methane. Just another way your electric utility shows how public power works for you. Let's talk about public power for a second. Did you know Nebraska's electric utilities pay more than $100 million to communities they serve each year? Those dollars stay local, helping to empower our hometowns. Just another way your electric utility shows how public power works for you.
Funding for the NHSBF State Championships was provided by the Lincoln Bowling Association through grants from the Bear Foundation and the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation. Reminding you that over 1,000 high school students compete statewide in varsity bowling.
For me, asking why is just getting started.
It's more than an activity. It's me doing what I love.
I'm not a stereotype. When I rewrite the rules, things get better.
I know that all these experiences matter.
These moments will help me become something more.
Little things always lead to something bigger.
Do it.
Track it.
Earn it.
What you're doing now will help you get scholarships later. Find resources from Education Quest at trackyoursuccess.org.
When you contribute $80 or more annually to NET, you receive the NET member card with our thanks. And we also want to thank the nearly 300 restaurants, wineries, B&Bs, arts venues, and attractions who support NET through their participation as member card merchants.
The Cambridge Bed and Breakfast has been in business for 20 years. We're celebrating our 20th
anniversary this year.
NET Television is an integral part of our state. We appreciate their unbiased news and their support of the arts programs.
We enjoy supporting NET through the NET member card. We feel like it's our way to give back to the programming that we have enjoyed, and we feel it's very valuable for the future of broadcasting in Nebraska and connecting with all of Nebraska.
Explore all the benefits online, with the mobile app, or in the directory. The NET member card, a great return on your investment in NET.
And welcome back to Sun Valley Lanes here in Lincoln, Nebraska, getting set for our Class A state championship between Fremont and Northeast. I want to remind you, if you'd like a copy of these state high school bowling championships, just log on to NHSBF.com, follow the prompts, and you can preserve these memories via DVD for a lifetime. Well, yesterday the singles competition in Class A was held. The first 3 games each bowler bowls during the qualifying goes toward determining who is our all-state team, and here is your all-state team. Renzo Mendez shot a 727 yesterday. He goes 246, 238, 243. Lapping the field, Kyler Kaufman was second. Matt Doman shot 629. Landon Vaughn and Caden Sterry of Columbus with a 602. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for this matchup. It is the Rockets of Lincoln Northeast, your defending state champs. Tivin Mansfield is a senior. Very senior-laden team here. Alex Converse is just a sophomore. Chase Bolton, Renzo Mendez. Matt Doman, a junior. He'll anchor for Northeast. Gabe Truesdale and Caden Niederhaus. That is a look at the Rockets of Lincoln Northeast. For the Tigers of Fremont, head coaches Mark McKenzie and Al Phillips. Chris Emmons is a sophomore, and this is a very young squad, but very talented as well. Cooper Phillips, Camden McKenzie, Nate Steinmates, Cole Macaluso, and Garrett Hill, the junior. That's the look at the lineup for the Tigers of Fremont. Should be a good one. Class A state title on the line when we come back here to Sun Valley Lanes in Lincoln in just a moment. Stay with us.
Let's talk about public power for a second. Did you know Nebraska is the only state in the nation served entirely by public power electric utilities? Community-owned utilities mean Nebraskans are working for Nebraskans. Just another way your electric utility shows how public power works for you. Let's talk about public power for a second. Did you know Nebraska's electric utilities are governed by locally elected or appointed boards and councils? This means you have a voice in the decisions made by your local utility. Just another way your electric utility shows how public power works for you.
For me, asking why is just getting started.
It's more than an activity. It's me doing what I love.
I'm not a stereotype. When I rewrite the rules, things get better.
I know that all these experiences matter.
These moments will help me become something more.
Little things always lead to something bigger.
Do it.
Track it.
Earn it.
What you're doing now will help you get scholarships later. Find resources from Education Quest at trackyoursuccess.org.
Funding for the NHSBF State Championships was provided by the Lincoln Bowling Association through grants from the Bear Foundation and the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation. Reminding you that over 1,000 high school students compete statewide in varsity bowling.
If you're looking to eat better, feel better, move more and save more, then a full day of self-improvement programs may be just what the doctor ordered. Join NET Saturday, December 29th for a New Year, a New You marathon. Beginning at 8 a.m. and continuing throughout the day, start the new year with an emphasis on a new you. Make 2019 your best year yet with NET.
Well, sports fans, NET is for you. We bring you more Nebraska high school sports than any other Nebraska network. For more information on dates, times, DVD sales, and available webcasts, visit netnebraska.org/sports. One of the things we bring you on a yearly basis are these Nebraska High School Bowling Federation State Championships, one of the only states in the country to televise these. So good to be with you here on NET. Along with Carla Bandemer, I'm Larry Putney. We're getting set for a Class A state championship. Starting it off, Tibin Mansfield for Lincoln Northeast. Mansfield up the boards, carries Lincoln Northeast out to the quick start. This a rematch of the finals back in 2017, just 2 years ago. Back when it was a winter sport. So that was 2 years ago. Leaves a week 10, so Emmons will make a move to his right off of that result. Up on the left lane, here is the sophomore, Alex Converse. Converse's game has really improved over these last couple of years. Fist pump for Converse. And Northeast with a double to start it off. Emmons, good cover. We're going to see some high-level bowling on both of these teams. These two very talented squads, very talented starting lineups.
A lot of 200 averages or better on these teams, and if not 200, the 190s. So very talented players on both teams.
Chase Bolt's one of those, and Bolt's through just a week 10. I really like the game of this next guy, Cooper Phillips. He is just a sophomore. Very up the boards, but great hand, trips the four. And Phillips with a nice shot. That's a team that's been here before. And players who have been here before. Northeast, the two-time defending state champs. And for Fremont, their 5th finals appearance in the last 6 years. 5 of the last 6 times. Here is Camden McKenzie. Another guy who gets a handful at the bottom, but plays very straight up the boards. Great shot by McKenzie. That's a double now for Fremont. Here's a senior, Renzo Mendez. Boy, Mendez just went off yesterday in qualifying. And Mendez is cool customer.
He talked about the strength of his mental game. He said he really likes to be the one to control the pace of play. Practices that even in practice to kind of just smooth and steady pace.
So now up on the right-hand lane, another freshman, Cole Macaluso. Macaluso averages 224. Lefty. Sophomore. I think I said freshman.
You
He's a
did.
sophomore. Yep. Sorry about that, Cole. I was trying to cheat you here. Maybe he wants another year back.
He might. He might.
Matt Doman leaves the 6-pin. Down the right-hand lane. Nate Steinmates. Steinmates also a sophomore. Ooh, good shot by Steinmates, and we're on a 7. Very close here early on the strength of that 3-bagger. Fremont has taken a 10-pin lead.
And we've talked about several of our athletes carrying 4.0 GPAs. Matt Doman actually carries a 4.3 GPA.
Sharp young man, good athlete. He's been in the finals. This is junior year, been in the finals all 3 years of his high school career.
That 4.3 GPA puts him in the top 3% of his class.
Well, you love the concentration, the ability to stop your shot. Now watch, he'll go through his entire pre-shot routine again.
It's important to reset yourself after a moment like that. Great job on him recognizing there wasn't something quite right about what he was about to do and stopping himself. Now it's just reset everything.
Well, great job for Steinmates right there. That's one of the things that you work on in practice. You work on, can you stop, you either completely focus everything else out, and if you can't, then you stop and reset. Go put the ball back down, go back through your pre-shot routine. Pre-shot routine is something we haven't talked about today, but is so important to the success of great athletes, because that tells your mental preparation in your body that you're ready to make a shot.
And everybody's got their different pre-shot routine, right? Everybody's got their their little quirks that they do, but you do the same thing every time.
Emmons with another week 10, so he will make a move off that. He'll either go 2-1 right, or he'll just slow his feet down a bit, because both of those good shots just dropped that 6-pin right in front of the 10. Did not carry. Here is Mansfield. Timmon gets some carry. He came up light enough that it carried. Back-to-back 10-pin conversions for Emmons.
Emmons is a member of the unified bowling team for Friedstrom, who were state champions this year. He, along with his teammate Camden McKenzie, participating on unified bowling for Fremont.
Need it, got it. We're back to even. That is a big double for the sophomore Alex Converse. Phillips, can he get it? It's Wobwood, got it! Phillips the other way. Took it left then right, got the roll.
Chase Bolt's another one carrying a 4.0 GPA. His spare game, he says, has definitely improved this year.
Big players make big shots in big moments. And now Lincoln Northeast has taken the lead. Fremont needs to keep pace with a strike here. Big shot. So now up in the right-hand lane is Mendez.
Mendez talked about how a couple years ago he gave a former teammate, Nate Parsons, some support, some help, some advice at the state tournament, and Parsons went on to win that state tournament, and he really commented on the positivity and how that has come full circle for him as he's here going for the state title today.
So here is Cole Macaluso, the sophomore from Fremont. Can give his team a commanding lead with a strike here. Comes in high and also a split. Back-to-back splits. Macaluso comes up high right after Mendez. So now when you're on a double or on a strike, these 2 pins become important, because 2 here is worth 4. 2 is important and he gets 1. So now with 2 pins, Fremont takes the lead. And we send it to the 10th. And Fremont would have an opportunity to shut out Lincoln Northeast. And he did. So he gets the 2, and that gives them the 1-pin lead, and now an opportunity for Fremont to shut out the Rockets. You might remember in the state championship last year, this young man needed 3 in a row to win a state title and did it. Doman's game is so solid and so smooth. Comes in high.
I think he knew off his hand that something wasn't right about that shot.
That comes up high too, but he has an opportunity to pick it up. So now does Doman go for this? Yes. Has to try to pick this up.
And When you say does he go for it, sometimes in a situation like that, you just go for the 2. You don't try to be a hero. You don't try to make the spare. You just go for the count. That's a situation where you want to go for the spare and try to really clip a pin on the side to catch it over on the 7-pin.
So if Steinmates can get 1, they win game number 1. And he did. Game 1 goes to Fremont.
Steinmate's a player who's got 3 career 300 games. 2 of them were shot this season. High series of 786 for him.
So game 1 goes to Fremont. 211 to 201. You can watch NET Sports anytime, anywhere. Download the free NET Nebraska app today. Watch college player profiles, full-length episodes from Big Red Wrap-Up, all on the NET Nebraska app at netnebraska.org/apps.
Chris Emmons, a sophomore, is an avid sneaker collector.
Here is Emmons, who twice has left week 10s and maybe tried to make a move right there. Did not get the reaction he wanted. Leaves the washout. Tim Mansfield, who has 2 strikes in 2 shots here in these finals. Cross over. 6-10 remains. Needs to get outside and does not.
Coach Mark McKenzie Fremont describes Cooper Phillips as Mr. Steady Eddie. He says he's one who is really able to keep his emotions in check.
Good shot by Phillips. Gets Fremont back on track. So now Converse will try to keep pace. These are 2 of the most successful teams in the last 5 years. Does not get the 10 out. Fremont won state championships in 14, 15, and 16. Lincoln Northeast has won it in 2004 and twice in 17. The year in which we had 2 titles because of the change in seasons. That comes in high for McKenzie. So one of these teams will become the first Class A team to win 4 state championships. The other that's won 3, along with Fremont and Northeast, is Columbus. And Columbus was knocked off by Fremont. And that back-to-back opens for Lincoln Northeast. Bolt's now up on the right-hand lane. He spared in his first shot last game and then struck. Got that too wide, and all of a sudden, maybe tightening up a little bit. I don't think the lanes have changed that quickly. I think you're just seeing some less than consistent shots.
But here's what's got to bring you confidence as a Northeast team.
when you have those less than consistent shots and you're leaving spares, so many of them commented on the quality of their spare shooting, that's something that they can really count on each other to cover the spares when they're needed. Not something we're seeing yet this game, but hopefully something they can bring back.
Macaluso comes up a bit light. And the cover. Important spare there for Northeast.
Macaluso, only a sophomore, but not sure where he wants to head off to college, but said he wants to study mathematics when he heads off to college.
So now Macaluso trying to keep pace here. Ooh, chops it. Tough chop. You know, we talk about the success that both of these programs have had, and you think about success breeding success within a program, and we can think about back to those teams that won titles in 14, 15, and 16. Completely different team, completely different makeup. That was a Fremont team back then that was coached by Terry Sinovac. New coaches this year, and Mark McKenzie and Al Phillips. And that team coached by Sinovac had Favre and Sheppers and Tyler Porsche and Tyler Sinovac, Brandon Drews as Mendez strikes. Steinmates goes quickly and pushes out to 7. No doubt that these young players grew up in Fremont seeing the success of those teams. This is a young Fremont team. 4 sophomores, 5 sophomores and a junior. And now Northeast can take the lead here with a double. Matt Doman. Got the 7 out. Kevin Mansfield now back up. Try to make it 3 in a row here for Lincoln Northeast. Came in just high as last time here at the 6-10. Not that time.
Chris Simmons up now for Fremont. Has a high game of 279 and a high series of 733. He's been bowling for 12 years.
He needs to get that to react, and he is just having a hard time getting some sort of reaction. And now Converse trying to make it 4 in a row for the Rockets. And he does. High flush, but took out the 7. Emmons right away to pick it up. And right now, Northeast running away with game number 2. As through 6 frames, 4 opens for Fremont.
Coach Tony Vondra, Northeast, talked about the cohesiveness of this team. That they listened to him, first of all, which is an asset. They listened to him, they listened to each other, but one of the big split there for Northeast, they're not afraid to let each other sub in for them. They don't hold their ego above the good of the team, and that can be hard to come by.
Big shot by Phillips. He's been solid. In fact, I told you before he threw his first shot how much I liked his game. He is 4 for 4. 4 shots, 4 strikes.
Consistency.
That's where you look and you say, okay, who's my hot hand? How much do I trust them? Would they do well? Can they handle the pressure of moving in a different place in the order? Those are all things that coaches think about, because just because someone's scoring doesn't mean it's always going to be a good fit to move them.
Right. That mental aspect of, do I put them in the anchor spot and put that pressure on them? Do I put them in the leadoff spot and put that pressure on them? Or do I tuck them in the middle of the pack? You have to consider the mental strength of your players. But, you know, Northeast really, they commented on they're good under pressure.
Yeah.
They have strong mental games.
Well, this is a closer match than it might look like by that score. Because if Fremont goes off the sheet, which no one would be surprised by, they shoot 193. Northeast needs a double somewhere to not shoot 192. So in other words, if Macaluso throws this first shot here in the 9th, it's almost going to force Matt Doman to throw the first strike in the 10th.
And accuracy is a strength for Macaluso. Second highest average on the team at 224.
Oh. Wrap to 7, and that should do it. .172 is the best Fremont can shoot. Northeast already. Doman could. A good count here. That'll do it. So Lincoln Northeast takes game number 2, thanks to the 4-bagger from the 4th through the 7th frames. And if not for the split in the 8th, where would they have been on a run? They've struck 6 of their last 7 shots. So Nate Steinmates
Steinmate's also a track athlete who runs the 200 and the 400. Great shot there.
Caden Niederhaus now up on the left lane. Niederhaus, a sophomore, averages 190, part of that state title team last year, crosses over and gets to Brooklyn. Third strike in a row for Nate Steinmates. And now is Gabe Trusum up to bowl. Gabe is a senior. Gabe is also part of the unified team at Lincoln Northeast. Great job by Gabe Trusum. I think that's a Truesdale.
Truesdale.
Just want to make sure I got
Truesdale.
that. Gabe Truesdale.
First year cello player.
208, 172.
See both teams coming together. Little pep talk. Stay calm. Keep making good shots.
1-1 here. Class A state championship on the boys' side. We've had some terrific matches already today as North Bend and Broken Bow went 5 to start us off. Ron Colley with a win over York 3-1. Yesterday, 2 of our 3 matches went 5. We've had more 5-game matches than we have not, which is an unusual. And no sweeps yesterday, no sweeps today, and we won't have a sweep here.
Definitely makes it more exciting.
Absolutely.
We saw the two-handed approach. I don't think we've seen that today. Two-handed approach by Garrett Hill.
Yeah, Garrett Hill now into the match. He's a junior.
Is two-handed becoming more popular?
Absolutely it is. So the benefits of two-handed are a couple of things. So you're familiar with Rod Ross, who is the director of instruction for the USBC National. Rod Ross does a silver level class, which certifies coaches at a certain silver level. And part of that silver level certification is teaching the two-handed game. The benefits to two-handed is you have a longer flat spot at the bottom of your swing, which generates more revs or more hook. You can also, with two hands, throw it much harder. You can also throw it much harder, which means when you can match up speed with revs, it increases your ability to carry. And so a lot of the young kids coming up, they want to see big hook.
Right.
And they want to see pins flying everywhere, and you can get that by going two-handed. So after that class, I had said to Rod Ross, I said, given all of the benefits and what you've talked about in two-handed, why would you not encourage anyone who wanted to bowl to become a two-handed bowler? And his comment was, only if they didn't want to. That's the only, because there's so many benefits right now to a two-handed approach. And you take a look at Team USA, you look at people who are having success on the tour, you look at certainly Jason Belmonte, who's had tremendous success. There's a couple of left-handers that are two-handed bowlers. You want to talk about a real advantage, being on the side of the lane where there's not much change and you're a two-hander.
Oh, and you mentioned Jason Belmonte, an Australian professional bowler, bowls frequently here in the United States. He really popularized it. He's a flashy player. He's one of the first ones to gain great media attention for using that two-handed. I said it with an Australian accent there. Two-handed delivery on his shot.
So much of what the USBC is teaching coaches about two-handed bowling is based on not only Jason Belmonte, but a couple of other two-handers who've had a lot of success. And there is a clear benefit, but also it needs to be coached in the right way. We see a lot of two-handed bowlers who don't really stay behind it, don't have long flat spots, who are launching it or pushing it. There's a clear way to coach two-handed, and when done right, it can be a tremendous advantage, and you will see newer players, newer bowlers make greater strides earlier and become better sooner than bowling one-handed. Good shot by Converse, as both teams now maybe jumping on a bit of a struggle bus. Northeast with back-to-back opens to start this game. And that's going to be a tough one for Cooper Phillips. That's the first time he hasn't struck today.
But you see, we mentioned earlier, Coach calls Cooper Steady Eddie. You see, not a great shot, but his facial expression is like it was when he throws a strike. I mean, he is just a very steady, even-keeled player. Converse now for Northeast. Sit. He didn't want it to move anymore.
We talked about, what do you do with Connor, who had 4 straight strikes, and do you make the move into a different position? The coaches did move him here. They moved him into the 3-hole from the 2-hole where he was, so it was a bit of a lineup change there for Mark McKenzie, seeing how strong Cooper was bowling and wanting to back him up with Cole Macaluso and Nate Steinmates to potentially string a few more strikes together. Great shot by Mendez. Again, Renzo, captain of that all-state tournament team.
Camden McKenzie now for Fremont with a high game of 299 and a high series of 748. Great shot there.
And McKenzie moved into the 4-hole. So McKenzie goes to the 4-hole. They keep Steinmates in the 5-hole. And also moved Cooper Phillips to 3. So it goes Phillips, McKenzie, Steinmates now. And here is Doman. A strike can even it back up. Steinmates just does not waste any time on the lane. Messenger flies across but does not deliver. So Northeast goes 9 miss, 8 miss, 9 miss, and then the split 7-2 in the fifth for 4 opens in the first 5 frames. And this is when you tell yourself, not done, not over. We're able to string strikes. We've got a terrific team. You can still shoot 204, and you're right back in it. And a good cover by Steinmates. So more misses of spares that are makeable here in game 3 already than the first 2 combined for Northeast. But not out of this by any means. Down by 22. And Garrett Hill, as we said, into the lineup. So here's the two-handed. This is what we're talking about. You see that front hand wrapped in front of the fingers. His thumb is out of the ball. Really turns it around and leaves the 2-pin.
Coach said Garrett always finds a way to step up when he is needed the most, and that didn't strike, but it left a very makeable spare.
Just across, it does.
Wanted it to cross just a little more.
So let's watch again here at the fingers going in for Garrett Hill. Thumb lays flat on the ball. You see how he cups it and takes that other hand in front so his fingers touch. This is just terrific form. Picks it straight up underneath his armpit, and that is textbook two-handed bowling. Now, some of you two-handed bowlers you will see, like Belmonte, with a big power step, which is on that next to last step before the slide. It's almost a hop, right? That's where they generate more speed and more power. So it's step, step, hop, slide, and release.
There's the physics of the approach changes a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah.
When you're using 2 hands versus 1.
You bet. So still a 21-pin lead. Both with marks in the 6th.
Macaluso credited with the best mental game on the team.
Push, and it does. Good shot by Macaluso. So he bounces back from that 9 miss. Chase Bolts up the boards. Boy, that's just a great backhand finish for Bolts. And that might have been a ball change for Bolts. Got that flip at the back end.
Can't quite tell what ball Cooper Phillips is going to throw right now. He said he has a ball. I can't tell if this is at the X Factor that is older than he is.
Well, if it strikes, it doesn't matter how old it is. And that's what Phillips has been doing a lot of today. He now has 5 strikes in 6 frames.
Converse, a sophomore, averaging 192.
Really important strike here. Fremont has already put back-to-back together. Comes in high, and Fremont has taken control here in game number 3.
Larry, I watched World Cup curling recently up in Omaha, and World curling has its own language. Bowling also has its own language. You heard them say, we talked earlier about how when you want a ball to stop moving and just push down, you say sit. You just heard them say push.
Yep.
Both meaning just go, stop moving.
Stop hooking.
Stop hooking.
Yes.
Get into the pins.
And a good cover. 144, it is now a 46-pin lead for Fremont. 158 is the best that Northeast can shoot. The Rockets would need to punch out in the 9th and 10th to shoot 148.
Renzo Mendez here,
58,
senior for Northeast. Planning after graduation to take a year off and spend 6 months living in Ecuador, and then joining the National Guard after that.
So with count here, Fremont takes game number 3, and they do. So Fremont is now on top 2-1 on the 2-time defending state champs.
Nice spare. Got Nate Steinmetz up here for Fremont. He's the only one in his family who bowls. It's kind of unusual. Bowling tends to be a family sport, something that you say you do because your parents did it or your grandparents did it. Well, good for him.
So here you're seeing Matt Doman pull out a new ball. He's going to try a ball change here to see if he can get some better reaction. It didn't seem to pick up as early as he might have wanted. But he's going to put the other one away and maybe stick with this one. And on the day, Steinmetz is clean, has not had an open. 184 is the score for Fremont, and they will take game number 3.
Doman's someone who is so good under pressure. Repeats shots, and that's why even though that ball maybe didn't get the reaction that he wanted. Is he going to try that same one again?
I believe he will.
Looks like it.
Yep. So down in the lane, he told his coaches he liked the ball reaction that he got. He just wants to move right, and this is his method. So he's going to move right here, and you'll likely see it pick up a little earlier.
Great adjustment.
.137 for Northeast, so that game goes to Fremont, and now Fremont is a game away from a state championship. It would be their 4th title in the last 5 years. Well, when you become a member of NET, you'll receive NET Passport. The NET Passport gives you anytime, anywhere access to your favorite PBS programs. NET Passport is an exclusive benefit to members who support NET each year at the $60 level or higher, and you can become a member by calling 800-634-6788 or visit netnebraska.org/donate. It'd be great to have you as a member of the NET Passport. Thrilled to be able to bring you these state high school championships. Leading off is the two-hander Garrett Hill. And now Tim Mansfield needs to answer.
Mansfield planning.
Got to set, and it does.
Shot. Planning to head off to UNL in the fall to major in business.
It looks like maybe Mansfield tugged that just a bit in the oil, but the benefit of a house shot, if you pull it a little bit, maybe a board or two, it's still going to hit that oil and sit. So here is Cole Macaluso looking for the double. Fortunate to have the head pin go off the wall, come back and kick out the 3, so no 3-7 to worry about, just the 7 pin.
Chase Bolts up now for Northeast. Talked about the strong bond that this team has. And as a coach, that's something that, great shot. That's something you can't create. The guys have to bring that together themselves. And this is the kind of situation where that's really going to be advantageous for them.
How big is that to come off a game in which you go 9 with, 8 spare, or 8 with to open up, and you come back in game 4, and the same 2 guys throw up a double?
Oh, huge. Huge change in mentality. Their 4th double of the day for those 2.
Wow, that is impressive. Yeah, they both doubled in the first game twice, in the second game in the 6th and 7th, and now here in the 4th in the 1st and 2nd. And trying to make it 3 in a row is Converse. That's going to have to sit. Comes in high. Now, speaking of a lot of strikes, here's Cooper Phillips. He has struck 5 times in his 6 shots. Make it 6 of 7.
And he's still steady, Eddie.
Good cover by Converse. 8-pin advantage for Lincoln Northeast on the strength of that double to open up this 4th game. But now Camden McKenzie with an opportunity to even it up with the strike. McKenzie with 2 in a row before this shot. Spun that 7 just a bit, about a quarter of a turn, but did not get the carry.
Here's the strength of this Fremont team. McKenzie ties for the 2nd lowest average on the team at 200. That's the 2nd lowest average on the team.
Wow.
Solid average. Other teammates with another 200, a 201, 224, 228. Such a solid team.
Mendez. Flush. And a great cover. So back to the high level stuff now, huh? Shaking off the jitters. They know what's on the line. Both teams making great shots.
And Matt Doman, one who's known for repeating shots. He's just a consistent, you can count on what he's going to do.
After the ball change, here's Doman. Needs the reaction, got it.
You know, Doman's been a leader on that team since he was a freshman. He's such a talented player.
Steinwait's carries. That was a big shot after the double from Northeast. Well, gamesmanship going on as well as the 2 teams chattering back and forth on the way to the other alley.
Tippin Mansfield with a high game of 290, high series of 750.
Hip pin off the wall and trips the 2. And a big 3-bagger there for Northeast. And here's Garrett Hill trying to make it 2 in a row. What a smooth shot. Big shot for Garrett Hill.
Coach meant it when he said you can count on Garrett to come in when the team needs you. Chase Bolts now with a high game of 289.
Bolts looking for another string. Got it. Those 2 have been dynamite. Mansfield and Bolts have led off this Northeast team, given them momentum early in the game, which has put pressure on the opponent.
This is when it gets fun, when two teams get into a shootout like this. You're going to strike, I'm going to strike. You're going to strike, I'm going to strike.
So 4 in a row right now for Northeast. Macaluso trying to keep pace here. Needs a strike for a 3-bagger for Fremont. Great shot, Macaluso. And now Converse is going to try to make it 5 in a row. Needs to set. It does! What a big shot, 5 in a row.
Big shot with a big reaction. Here's where Cooper Phillips's strong mental game is going to come in handy.
Bingo. He tugged that one inside. That was about 2 boards inside his target. It just sat and crushed the hole. It's not over yet. It's currently an 18-pin lead. Both teams working on a string. Northeast on a 5-bagger, Fremont 4 in a row. Mendez again, got the carry.
This crowd is getting louder and louder with every strike these kids are shooting.
And here's McKenzie, now he must strike. Down 18, gotta have this. That made it even tougher.
Doman, musical talent as well in the jazz band at Northeast as well as the marching band.
Really just good count here is all Doman would need, but that'll do it. How exciting is this? We're heading to a 5th. Heading to game number 5 in Class A for the state title. Five-pin wobbles, and it will stand. .226, the best Fremont can have. Northeast already in the clubhouse.
Get another look at Truesdale. Great
Truesdale picks it up.
Truesdale also the team manager for varsity football at Northeast. Good for him.
Well, Lincoln Northeast has really embraced Gabe Truesdale as a member of this team. He's on the autism spectrum, but what a great teammate he's been. First to help these guys celebrate when things go well, and what a terrific spare. Great moment. 267 for Northeast. High game of the day.
Steinmates now for Fremont maintains a 3.8 GPA. Covers the 4-pin.
So 267 to 216. And we're headed to a deciding game number 5. It was these two teams who went to a game 5 2 years ago, and Matt Doman, the freshman at the time for Lincoln Northeast, stepped up and threw 3 strikes in the 10th to deliver the win for Lincoln Northeast over this Fremont team. It ended Fremont's 3-year championship run. They had won it in 14, 15, and 16. And now Lincoln Northeast has gone back-to-back and trying to make it 3 in a row of their own. A bit high. Makeable spare. This is where everything begins to tighten up a bit. So Garrett Hill, the two-hander, still in there. Love the decision here of Mark McKenzie to go with the two-hander, especially on a house shot, which is a little bit easier. You have more room right, more room inside. That one was significantly more inside than his previous shot, but because of the rotation and the speed, it sits in the oil and he gets the carry.
So here's a situation. Northeast, missed a spare on that one. Northeast, several players talked about, they like to control the pace of play. This is a moment, this is a game where you really got to push yourself to control the pace of play. Don't get going too fast, don't get too excited. Keep your calm.
Big shot here for Macaluso early in game number 5. Trips to 7.
Cooper Phillips, the sophomore, also a track and field athlete, a golfer, and loves to go fishing.
Yep, that one just a bit high. Left the 9 pin, but a great shot. One of only 2 times he hasn't struck in his 9 shots. Needs all of them, got him a hard way. Not how you draw it up, but a big conversion given that Fremont had a double and would apparently, you see how he took that, it's called a thumb insert. He took it out of his other ball and put it in this ball. Gives you a consistent feel regardless of what ball you're using. A lot of the players are going with thumb inserts.
That's that consistency in just like the pre-shot routine. As much consistency, as much as you can decrease the variability between each shot, the better. Alex Converse, the sophomore, hoping in a few years to head off to UNL and study computer networking.
Does not get the 2 to go. McKenzie rings the 10. Looks like maybe just a bit wide, came flying back. But a ringing 10. And now an important shot here for Converse. Good cover. Good cover.
Renzo Mendez now for Northeast, hoping after he spends some time in Ecuador and finishes his time with the National Guard, he wants to be a motivational speaker.
Mendez, Greek Church. Got a little slow there too, but it's sat. Good break there for Fremont. So now if Northeast is going to hang in, it's going to have to be done in the back half as they find themselves down now by 37. And now Matt Doman.
Matt Doman, a two-time state champion.
Well, that was a big shot. Needed that going into the back half because Fremont was on a strike, and Fremont has a 37-pin lead. Well, on the eve before Christmas, NET television cameras take you backstage as the Omaha Community Playhouse stages Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. Casting call to curtain call explores the drama and the inspiring moments that happen long before the curtain opens on this Omaha tradition. The magic of the season continues with Casting Call to Curtain Call, Monday, December 24th, 8 Central on NET. Final 5 frames of these state championships. Hill again and rings a 10-pin. Good shot by Garrett Hill. That's going to go Brooklyn.
Garrett Hill with a high game of 277 and a high series of 713.
That's a lot of confidence in your two-hander. 10-pin up there. Lets him stay in to pick it up. Could have easily gone with Chris Emmons off the bench to try to pick it up. But a lot of confidence. And he delivers. Ooh, and this is disaster now for Northeast.
Heard his shoe squeak. I wonder if he's stuck there.
43-pin lead for Fremont. .195 is the best that Northeast can shoot now. And all Fremont has to do is just stay clean. If they just mark the rest of the way out, they're going to win a state championship.
And you saw before he got up to get ready for his shot, Cole Macaluso, excuse me, just take a deep breath. Calm himself down.
Comes in high, tripped it. 6-pin comes forward. Chase Bolts needs this one, got it. Big shot by Chase Bolts. Bolts has been solid all day long.
You see how hard Cooper Phillips throws the ball up for Fremont. He has some impressive ball speed.
And to get the hook that he does, his rev rate is impressive as well.
Absolutely.
There it is. That was about 2 boards outside and still reacted. Cooper Phillips. I believe that for Cooper is 8 strikes, and 8 of his 10 shots were strikes for Cooper Phillips. That's going to do it. That is going to do it. .175 is the best that Northeast would be able to muster at this point. Already .178 for Fremont. And they're calculating it right now, looking at the screen. Coaches, do we have this one? Yes, Coach, you do.
These are hard shots to have to make now for Northeast.
Right. Mendez flush. Boy, he's been solid as well. They're going to Lincoln Northeast finish first. But what a run here for this very young Fremont Tigers squad. 5 sophomores and a junior. Everybody returns next year. All average over 200. And the guy that they brought in off the bench is the only one that doesn't average 200, and all he did was throw strikes from the two-hander in Garrett Hill.
Good for him. Making a case for a starting spot next year.
Fremont knocked off Norfolk in round 1. They beat Columbus in the second round. And they're going to close it out with a string just for good measure. Niederhaus in to pick it up. Slides by. 143. Final for Northeast. And Chris Emmons will come in to close it off for Fremont. See if he gets a little bit better reaction. He does! Well, he just wasn't getting it back to the 1-3 pocket earlier. It was just coming in light. That came in light as well. And that's when Garrett Hill came in for Emmons. And now Emmons getting a chance to close it out.
Just an impressive group of young men on both of these teams.
Yep.
Not only their bowling talent and skill, but gosh, just high GPAs and involved in other sports and great sportsmanship amongst them.
It is a 4th state championship for the Fremont Tigers. 246-143 in game number 5. When we come back, we'll hand out championship pins, medals, and trophies after the Class A title right here on NET Sports.
Whether it's spring planting, fall harvesting, or just a drive across the state, soy biodiesel helps a diesel-powered engine operate in a demanding job. Soybean oil from Nebraska soybeans makes biodiesel a renewable fuel that's also environmentally responsible. The soybean checkoff plays a major role in supporting the use and availability of biodiesel. The Nebraska Soybean Board, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Funding for the NHSBF State Championships was provided by the Lincoln Bowling Association through grants from the Bear Foundation and the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation. Reminding you that over 1,000 high school students compete statewide in varsity bowling.
The values that Methodists bring is family.
It's important going through school that you're not just a number, that you're a face and that you're a name to a teacher. And so I loved the small class sizes.
What it means to me is that I found my foundation where I can build on my passion and I can embrace something new in my life. It is a place where I know that I'm supposed to be.
This month in Passport, your on-demand library of the best of PBS.
I'm to be Sir Percival's wife. She knows something about Sir Percival. He has a secret.
We are living in an extraordinary era of science. This is the amazing human body.
These and other shows are available with Passport. Become a member of this PBS station. Sign in and start streaming today.
Welcome back to Sun Valley Lanes. There is your final in 5, back and forth. Fremont, then Northeast, then Fremont, Northeast, and in the final game, it was Fremont winning it 246-143. Let's go down to Carla. She's with State Champs.
Coach, congratulations. You made a little bit of a lineup change. You moved Cooper from the 2 spot to the 3 spot, and you brought Garrett Hill in off the bench, the two-handed player, Garrett Hill. Talk about the strategy behind that lineup change for you.
All the strategy was today is to get the hot hand in the right order. So number 4 didn't have it, so we moved 3, 4, and 5 down the lineup just to try to end the lineup with strikes.
Worked out well for you. And Cooper, after you made that change, 10 frames today, 8 of those frames were strikes. Talk about what this means to you.
That means a lot. My team is amazing, and we all bowled very well, so couldn't have done it without them.
Well, congratulations, state champions, Fremont High School. Larry, back to you.
Well, congratulations once again to Fremont. Congratulations to Cooper. 8 strikes in 10 shots on TV. Not an easy feat, but congratulations. Time now for medal and trophy presentations. Let's go to Dwayne DeMode.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, another nice round of applause for our finalists. And now for your 2018 runner-up, the Lincoln Northeast Rockets. Co-coaches Tony and Gary Vondra. Tibin Mansfield. Good job, Tibin. Alex Converse. Chase Bolts. Renzo Mendez. Matt Doman. Gabe Truesdale. Caden Niederhaus. Gentlemen, here's your runner-up trophy. Congratulations to Lincoln Northeast, your Class A runner-up. All right. You asked for it, you got it. Here's your Class A 2018 Boys State Champions, the Fremont Tigers. Head coach Mark McKenzie. Assistant coach Al Phillips. Chris Emmons. Cooper Phillips. Camden McKenzie. Nate Steinmates. Cole Macaluso. Grant Hill. Gentlemen, there's your bracket and your championship trophy. Congratulations to your 2018 Boys State Champions, the Fremont Tigers!
So they are your state champs from Fremont, the Tigers, 4th state title. And 4th in the last 6 years. What a run for one of the great programs. Congratulations also on a great season to Lincoln Northeast. We had a terrific day today. Started off with North Bend winning its 6th consecutive state championship. York picks up its first ever, and then Fremont wins it here in Class A. Another great year of the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation State Championships. Pleased to be able to bring it to you right here on NET Sports. That will do it for the boys' state championships. I'm Larry Putney for Carla Bandemer and our entire NET Sports production group. Thanks so much for joining us here at Sun Valley Lanes in Lincoln, Nebraska. The state champs once again in Class A, the Fremont Tigers.